Now that the Russians have seen what a real coup looks like, it's a good opportunity to talk about the topic more. The Revolution of Dignity, also known as the Euromaidan, was the turning point in Ukraine's history. Protests launched in late 2013 in response to the U-turn of the pro-Russian Yanukovych administration to sign an association agreement with the EU turned into a revolution in the winter of 2014, leading to the change of the regime and an aggressive reaction from Russia, culminating in the unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. The Russian propaganda and some observers around the world call the Euromaidan a coup, basically an armed takeover of the elected government in Ukraine. In this video, we will describe the events of the Revolution of Dignity and try to find out if it really was a revolution, or as Russian propaganda claims, a coup. Getting to the bottom of such questions is one thing, but getting what we discover onto the screen for all of you is another, so we'd like to thank our sponsor Skillshare for their help and extend a special offer from them to you. Skillshare is a platform for taking lessons in all kinds of creative skills. Be it painting, music, crafts, or even the business side of creative life, there are loads of classes available from expert teachers. But the best thing for us is all their courses on making videos. After all, doing visual effects can be daunting even for basic things like making a custom text animation. Skillshare helped us with loads of classes on the skills happening behind the scenes at K&G, such as this course on Adobe After Effects about making motion graphics. Programs like these can be mastered through classes like this, we can guarantee you of that. Whatever it is you want to get better at in your creative life, or if you want to take a skill you have and turn it into a business, find the relevant classes on Skillshare for an immediate head start and guidance right up to the pro level. If you want to see for yourself, get Skillshare with our link in the description fast, because the first 1,000 people to use that link get a month of Skillshare for free. Get in there quick. Ever since Ukraine gained its independence in 1991, following the demise of the Soviet Union, this Eastern European nation stood at the crossroads in terms of its strategic foreign policy course, integrating with Europe or maintaining close relations with Russia. This became the main issue of the political, cultural, and geographical divide in Ukraine, and the issue has been the cause of the biggest political mobilization processes in the history of independent Ukraine, even prior to the Euromaidan. In 2004, the pro-European candidate Viktor Yushchenko ran for the presidency against the Russian-backed Viktor Yanukovych, and following electoral fraud, Yushchenko's supporters took to the streets to demand free and fair elections, and ultimately a European choice for Ukraine. Mass protests, known as the Orange Revolution, eventually led to the repeat of the second round of presidential elections, ending in Yushchenko's victory. His term is remembered for the creation of closer ties with Europe, while relations with Russia soured, culminating in several gas disputes. But Yushchenko was unable to curb the endemic corruption and improve the living standards of ordinary Ukrainians, and as a result, he came only fifth in the 2010 presidential election, which his old rival Yanukovych won. During his presidency, Yanukovych had been accused of repressions against his political opponents and the independent media, parochialism, and very high levels of corruption, he and his family benefiting personally. But despite being known for his pro-Russian stance, Yanukovych continued on the path of integration with the European Union. On the 30th of March 2012, the EU Association Agreement was initiated by Kyiv and Brussels. Despite problems associated with the arrest of the former Prime Minister of Ukraine and its main opposition figure, Yulia Tymoshenko, on corruption charges, and in general questions regarding Ukraine's human rights record, the talks on the association agreement progressed between the sides. According to the poll conducted in December 2011 by the Ilko Kucherev Democratic Initiatives Foundation, prior to the Euromaidan revolution, 46% of Ukrainians supported Ukraine's accession to the EU, while 33% were against it. Western and northern provinces of the country, which have traditionally voted in favor of pro-Western politicians and parties in prior elections, were predominantly for the EU membership, while southern and eastern regions, including Donbass and Crimea, strongholds of Yanukovych and his pro-Russian Party of the Regions, were mostly against this, preferring closer ties with Russia. While the level of public support for the EU accession of Ukraine was by no means overwhelming, almost half the population was in favor of this. The progress in negotiations was considerable, and the expectation was that Ukraine was going to sign the EU Association Agreement at the Vilnius Summit in November 2013. But complicated processes were going on in the background, as Yanukovych worked on improving the terms of the deal with the EU and the IMF, persuading his pro-Russian party of the benefits of closer integration with Europe, while trying to appease Russia at the same time. Needless to say, this was a very difficult task, which Yanukovych absolutely botched. It is more than evident now that the Kremlin sees Ukraine not as an independent state, but as its own backyard. Hence, Putin was extremely unhappy with Yanukovych, who was supposed to be his ally, choosing Europe over Russia. In 2013, Russia increased gas prices for Ukraine and started blocking sales of Ukrainian-produced meat, cheese and some other food products, along with abolishing the duty-free regime for steel pipes. Decades of existence within the Soviet Union had made Ukraine's industry very closely aligned with Russia, particularly in Donbass, the base of Yanukovych's Party of Regions. Thus, bans on the import of Ukrainian-made produce were a significant problem for Ukraine, to say the least. The then Prime Minister of Ukraine, Mykola Azarov, claimed that Ukraine had lost almost $7 billion in exports due to Russia-imposed restrictions. According to Reuters, in September 2013, just 2 months before the intended signing of the EU Association Agreement, Yanukovych gathered the party elite in Kyiv to share his plans of closer integration with Europe. Many prominent party members, who were also business owners and industry chiefs in Donbass, were concerned that their businesses would suffer as a result of the Kremlin's trade war. They complained about the harm that Yanukovych's decision will inflict on eastern Ukraine. The then president of Ukraine reportedly responded, "Forget about it, forever." Yanukovych brushed aside all the complaints, declaring his goal to his party members, "We will pursue integration with Europe." A former member of the Party of Regions, Inna Bohoslovka, told Reuters that during this meeting, Viktor Yanukovych criticized Russia for not seeing Ukraine as an equal and for trying to take advantage of Ukraine. But Yanukovych did not deem terms offered by Europe suitable either. According to Reuters, Yanukovych estimated that Ukraine would need $160 billion in 3 years to survive the harm inflicted by the trade ban from Russia and losses from reforms requested by the EU. But the EU was ready to offer only €610 million. An EU source told Reuters that had Ukraine signed the association agreement and reached an understanding with the IMF, Kyiv would have received at least €19 billion, but this money was never mentioned to Ukrainian representatives. Ukraine's permanent representative for NATO during the Yanukovych era, Vladimir Olenik, claimed that the IMF was ready to offer only $5 billion in loans, part of which would have been used to pay previous loans. Furthermore, there was a matter of Yulia Tymoshenko, the imprisoned opposition leader hated by Yanukovych, whose release was demanded by the EU as a condition of signing the association agreement. But while the European terms had been deemed harsh by the Ukrainian government of the time, the main cause of Yanukovych's U-turn was Russia's pressure. On November 9, 2013, less than 20 days before the supposed day of the signing of the EU Association Agreement, Yanukovych secretly met with Putin. Then, on November 20th, the Prime Minister Azarov met with his Russian colleague Dmitry Medvedev in St. Petersburg. We do not know exactly what the sides talked about in these meetings, but a day later, on November 21st, Yanukovych declared that Ukraine would not sign the association agreement. According to the foreign policy advisor to the Lithuanian president, Jovita Nelipšienė, Yanukovych called the Lithuanian president before announcing his decision, stating that Ukraine was in no position to resist the Russian economic pressure and blackmail. Earlier, Armenia backed off from signing the association agreement under pressure from Russia, opting to join the Kremlin-led Eurasian Customs Union instead. Yanukovych's U-turn came as a shock to Ukrainian society, which thought of the signing of the association agreement as a foregone conclusion. On the same day, journalists Mustafa Nayem and Yuri Andreev, along with one of the opposition leaders, Arseniy Yatsenyuk, called people to gather at the iconic Maidan Nezalezhnosti, the Independence Square. A few thousand people, mostly the youth, gathered in central Kyiv. Soon, opposition parties started to join as well. On November 24th, tens of thousands gathered at the Maidan. For 9 days, Protests demanding integration with Europe and the resignation of the government were mostly peaceful, but on the night of November 30th, Berkut special police units violently dispersed a few hundred people remaining at the protest area. In hindsight, the violent response by the Yanukovych regime was a miscalculation, as it gave impetus to the protest movement, the size of which was modest by Ukrainian standards before that. In response, the main opposition parties established the headquarters of national resistance. The process started gathering revolutionary momentum. On December 1st, a huge crowd of hundreds of thousands gathered in downtown Kyiv. Soon clashes ensued, and the most radical elements in the crowd fought with the riot police near the presidential administration. Then the protesters occupied the Kyiv City Council and the trade unions building. The day ended with speeches of the opposition leaders condemning the attack on the presidential administration, along with calling for a national strike and the resignation of Yanukovych. The tent city, akin to the one in the Orange Revolution, started being constructed in central Kyiv. Barricades were erected. For several days after the December 1st clashes, protests spread to several western Ukrainian cities like Lviv and Ternopil, while in Kyiv, protesters attempted to block several government buildings, but overall the situation remained stable. Rumors about Yanukovych's intention to join the Eurasian Customs Union circled, which further fueled public dissatisfaction. On December 8th, another massive demonstration took place in central Kyiv, the culmination of which was the destruction of Lenin's monument by the activists of the nationalist party Svoboda. While Yanukovych was seeking a way out of the crisis by meeting the EU representatives and holding a round-table meeting with all former presidents of Ukraine, his riot police were clashing with protesters to dismantle their barricades and tents. But this news only mobilized the public, as the barricades were reinstated almost immediately after the riot police left. Talks between Yanukovych, the opposition leaders, and civil society representatives did not lead to any positive results. The signing of the Ukrainian-Russian Action Plan on December 17th only exacerbated tensions. Protests and clashes in central Kyiv continued for several more weeks, when on January 16th, the Yanukovych administration pushed on to adopt draconian anti-protest laws. Instead of calming the situation down, it ultimately gave another push to the protest movement and made the matters worse for the government. On January 19th, hundreds of thousands gathered in central Kyiv on a Sunday in open defiance of the new law. Heavy clashes between protesters and the riot police near Hrushevsky Street continued for 3 days. On January 21st to 22nd, the protest movement reached the point of no return, when the news of the death of 3 protesters emerged. 2 of them were killed by shots fired by the police. Things started spiraling out of control, as violent scenes in Kyiv and images of tortured protesters showed the level of crisis occurring in Ukraine. The Ministry of Internal Affairs accused the opposition of stockpiling firearms in the occupied buildings of the Kyiv City Hall and House of Trade Unions. Yanukovych once again met with the opposition leaders and offered Yatsenyuk the position of Prime Minister, along with promising to consider constitutional amendments decreasing the powers of the president. This was followed by the rollback of some of the anti-protest laws, along with the resignation of the Azarov government. But along with attempting to appease the opposition by offering half measures, the Yanukovych administration continued repressions against protesters. The attempts of the US government and the EU officials to broker a solution between the government and the opposition did not lead to any fruition either, as the opposition demanded immediate constitutional reform, while the government refused to offer amnesty to all detained protesters. Still, after the protest movement agreed to unblock key Kyiv roads and vacate occupied administrative buildings, the government adopted a law on amnesty. But the most dramatic events of the Revolution of Dignity were yet to come. On February 18th, protesters marched on the Ukrainian Parliament building, where they were met with police resistance. Chaos ensued in central Kyiv, as it resembled a scene of battle. Police used live ammunition, rubber bullets, stun grenades, and other tools against the protesters, who retaliated with Molotov cocktails and set the barricades and then the building of the Party of Regions on fire. Dozens of protesters and policemen died in clashes on that day. The government-funded provocateurs, known as Titushki, also took part in attacks against protesters, reportedly shooting one of them dead on February 19th. On the following day, more people died in clashes, mostly protesters killed by sniper fire, as the death toll reached 42 people. The Minister of Interior, Zakharchenko, admitted that combat weapons had been given to the police, citing the capture of several riot policemen and the necessity to conduct an anti-terrorist operation to release them. Foreign ministers of Germany, France and Poland met with Yanukovych, who apparently agreed to hold presidential and parliamentary elections in the immediate future, and create a government of national unity until then. Putin also sent his envoy, Vladimir Lukin, to organize talks between the government and the opposition. Around the same time, one of the leaders of the Party of Regions, Alexander Yefremov, traveled to Luhansk, calling for secession or federalization of Ukraine if Yanukovych fails to stabilize the situation. The chairman of the Crimean parliament, Konstantinov, went to Moscow to call for the secession of Crimea from Ukraine in case of a power change in Ukraine. At the time, these statements may have looked unrealistic, but they ended up being a harbinger of things to come. The situation was getting worse for Yanukovych. His Party of Regions started to crumble as some of its elected members left the party. The Deputy Chief of Staff of the Ukrainian army resigned in protest for attempting to use the army in internal affairs after Yanukovych dismissed the Chief of Staff under unclear circumstances, but probably for the same reason. Separate police units started joining the protest. On February 21st, in the last-ditch attempt to save his power, Yanukovych signed the Agreement on the Settlement of the Political Crisis in Ukraine, brokered by German, French and Polish foreign ministers, and observed by the Russian representative with 3 opposition leaders. The agreement stipulated the return of the 2004 constitution, which envisaged decreased presidential powers, along with the formation of the Government of National Trust to oversee presidential elections to be held in 2014. The government would remove the law enforcement from central Kyiv, while the opposition would surrender all arms in its possession. Still, several leaders of the Euromaidan movement, not linked to the opposition parties, rejected the agreement, stating that protests would continue until the resignation of Yanukovych. But they did not have to wait for long. Very soon, the riot police guarding Yanukovych's residence and government buildings left. Prominent figures of the Yanukovych government started to flee Kyiv. By February 22nd, Yanukovych had left too. The parliament voted to reinstate the 2004 constitution and impeached Yanukovych. The prominent opposition figure, Alexander Turchinov, was elected the chairman of the parliament and the acting president until the election of a new president. The Revolution of Dignity had won. 107 protesters and 13 policemen died during clashes in central Kyiv. In the future, we will talk about the events that transpired in the aftermath of the revolution in Ukraine, including the illegal annexation of Crimea and the start of the Russian-backed separatist movement in eastern Ukraine, which eventually escalated into a full-scale war. For now, let's go back to the question of our video. Was the Euromaidan a revolution or a coup? The Western political establishment, most of the Western media and political commentators see the Euromaidan as a revolution, as the struggle of the Ukrainian people against a corrupt leader who did not mind shooting his own people. In contrast, Russia has been actively cultivating the narrative that the Euromaidan was actually an armed coup by the Ukrainian far right, backed by the West against a legitimate leader of the country. Many Western far-right and far-left pundits and commentators share this opinion. To tackle this question, we need to first agree on what a coup is. Is there a generally accepted definition of a coup? American political scientist Samuel Huntington says that the coup d'etat is an effort by political leaders to seize state power illegally, and to state power must be added the control of the means of coercion, power over the army and the police. His Spanish colleague Juan J. Lintz proposes a similar definition. A coup d'etat is an illegal and overt attempt by the military or other elites within the state apparatus to unseat the sitting executive authority, resulting in a change of the chief executive. Almost all definitions of coup include the component of the military or ruling elite as the force behind the coercive ouster of the incumbent government. In Ukraine, neither the military nor any groups in the government supported Euromaidan. On the contrary, Yanukovych employed riot police and all available security services, including the SBU and government-funded Titushki, to quell the protests. The police and the SBU followed Yanukovych's orders and stayed loyal to him until the end. His attempt to use the army as the last resort to defeat the Euromaidan was unsuccessful, but it does not mean that the army somehow sided with the protesters. Instead, it refused to shoot at fellow Ukrainians and decided to stay out of the civilian conflict. But there are other definitions, which include the component of public movements, opposition parties, or the level of popular support, as an important element of coups. For instance, according to political scientist Roger Peterson, coup d'etat occurs when members of the opposition and/or popular movements, either with or without military support, forcibly overthrow the sitting government. It implies the use of force, if not by the military, then by the opposition. So while opposition overthrowing a government may qualify as a coup under this definition, it must use coercion in this process. Otherwise, any velvet revolution would qualify as a coup under this definition as well. Let's look at some of the main talking points of those who argue that the Euromaidan was a coup. Their first argument is that violent and armed protesters, backed by the West, have overthrown a legitimate government. But as we have described above, initially the protests were quite small and would have eventually died down naturally had the government avoided drastic measures. But the violent dispersal of young people angered many others, pushing them to take to the streets and expand their demands beyond integration with Europe. Still, the government insisted on solving the conflict with the public through violence, forcing some of the protesters to respond with Molotov cocktails and other improvised tools. The Ukrainian Minister of Interior admitted that lethal weapons had been given to the police, who used them on February 20th against the public, killing dozens of people. A small minority of protesters fought back with air guns and traumatic pistols. It is difficult to expect the whole crowd of protesters to remain peaceful when the government regularly uses violence against them. One of the key points of this narrative is the sniper activity in Kyiv on February 19th to 20th. Russian propaganda claims that these snipers were employed by the opposition to create chaos, further destabilize the situation, and make the continuation of Yanukovych's reign impossible. This claim is based on the sole argument that a Ukrainian doctor named Olha Bohomolets said that the wounds of both protesters and policemen indicate that they were attacked by the same shooters. First, Bohomolets is a doctor, not a forensic expert, so she lacked the expertise that would allow her to come to this conclusion. As she said in her interview with The Telegraph, no one who just sees the wounds when treating the victims can make a determination about the type of weapons. Second, Bohomolets has denied in the same interview that she treated any policemen and had seen their wounds. Myself, I only saw protesters. In former Soviet countries, policemen, members of security forces, and servicemen are typically treated in state hospitals designated for them specifically, particularly when injuries occur while on duty. So the sniper argument does not hold up, and there's no evidence to suggest that they were not employed by the government but by the opposition. Another argument is that the Yanukovych regime had been overthrown by agents of the West in Ukraine. The best way to debunk this assertion is to look at the February 21st agreement and the earlier attempts of the EU to negotiate a solution. Of course, the EU wanted Ukraine to sign the association agreement in 2013, but at the time when Kyiv started resembling a battlefield, their main intention was to find a peaceful solution to the conflict. The EU did not force Yanukovych to resign. They actually mediated an agreement with the opposition, which would see Yanukovych remain as the president until snap elections, whose participation in them was not prohibited by this agreement. But the anger of the protest movement towards Yanukovych due to a series of violent crackdowns on protesters pushed them to reject the agreement and call for a struggle until Yanukovych could be overthrown. Evidently against the wishes of the EU, which was behind the February 21st agreement. What about the United States? The State Department official Victoria Nuland had made several visits to the Maidan Nezalezhnosti and openly supported the protest movement. Her phone call with the American ambassador to Kyiv leaked to the internet, where they discussed the potential composition of the new government, and in which Nuland famously said, "F the EU," and had been used by the Russian propagandist as an apparent proof of the American hand being behind the protest movement. The White House spokesperson Jen Psaki rejected this premise, stating that, It shouldn't be a surprise that at any point there have been discussions about recent events and offers and what is happening on the ground, which makes sense. In one of her speeches, Nuland noted that the US had allocated $5 billion for the democracy-building programs in Ukraine since its independence. Russian propaganda has used this statement to create a perception that this big sum has been sent specifically to fund the revolution in Ukraine, which is absolutely untrue. The money has been spent over 22 years, the bulk of which has been given to government agencies for state-building projects, reforms, and so on. Russia received similar assistance to the tune of tens of billions of dollars. So, while the West undoubtedly supported the protest movement carried out by pro-Western political and societal forces, there is no evidence of their direct meddling in Ukrainian politics during the Revolution of Dignity. What about the attitudes of the Ukrainian people towards the Euromaidan? According to the poll conducted in October 2014 by the Ilko Kucherev Foundation for Democratic Initiatives, 20% of Ukrainians took part in the Euromaidan demonstrations throughout the country. It is also important to note that although the level of support to the Euromaidan has increased since 2014 in Ukraine, particularly after the start of the war, at the time, almost half of the population opposed the movement. These are Ukrainians living in the south and east of the country, regions with a predominantly Russian-speaking population with industrial links to Russia, who have been living inside the Russian cultural and information space. They preferred closer ties with Russia, which has been used by Putin to start a war on Ukrainian soil in 2014. But still, a lack of support for a popular movement among different groups of people does not make it a coup. There are simply no examples of unanimous support for any revolution in history, as there are always groups who prefer the status quo, who support the incumbent government, and have different political goals, and who just simply do not want instability inevitably caused by revolutionary events. Famously, during the American Revolutionary War, up to a third of the free population supported the Congress, a third remained loyal to the king, and a third remained neutral. But we wouldn't call the American Revolution a French-backed coup because of that, would we? And as we mentioned in the video, Russia had interfered in the Ukrainians' affairs much more than the West before, during, and after the crisis. What started with an angry but peaceful and relatively small protest against the last-minute decision of Viktor Yanukovych to back off from the association agreement with the European Union in November 2013, eventually turned into a full-scale revolutionary movement in defiance to a violent reaction of his regime, leading to more than 100 deaths and in defense of freedom of the Ukrainian people. Even though the Revolution of Dignity was accompanied by violent events, it does not qualify as a coup, not more than any other famous revolution in history, like the French Revolution or the 1917 February Revolution in Russia. Unfortunately, violence is often the inevitable component of revolutions, as popular forces and incumbent regimes face off, with a compromise not being seen as an option. If you are wondering what a coup attempt looks like, look no further than Prigozhin's so-called March of Justice to Moscow on June 24th. We will talk about the unprovoked Russian invasion of Ukraine more in the coming days, so make sure you are subscribed and press the bell button. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting and sharing, it helps immensely. Recently, we have started releasing weekly Patreon and YouTube member exclusive content. Consider joining their ranks via the link in the description or button under the video to watch these weekly videos, learn about our schedule, get early access to our videos, access our private Discord, and much more. This is the Kings and Generals channel.
Look how he opens the video.
Catch you on the next
I don't know
one.
how many of you were here. Look how he opens the video. He goes, now that Russia knows what it feels like. Oh, here it is.
Now that the Russians have seen what a real coup looks like, it's a good opportunity to talk about
A little
the
walkie
topic
walk.
more.
A little walkie walk. That stopped. And then the dudes doing it went away. And then Prigozhin got blown up. But yeah, that's what the real coup looks like, apparently. I mean, it was an attempt. It was an attempt of a one. A real coup? A real coup? Yeah, I don't know. I would take it as an insult, you know, coming from any person who actually lives in a country that experienced a real one, that would be an insult. That was a failure. How are you doing, my dudes? I have to work tomorrow, today afternoon. So we're here. Had to work afternoon today and then tomorrow and then on Thursday. I don't know. I still don't know. I still don't know if I'm working morning, if I'm working afternoon, if I'm working. I have no idea. My cousin doing his service just got called to help in the border. Shit, are you having some chaos at the border? Are you having some problems? To speed up the building of the Oh, he's working on one. Oh, I hope the. Wait, is it one of those fences on the crossing? I hope wherever he's working, I hope there's a calm situation, and I hope nothing happens. I don't know how possibly violent the situation gets when it comes to building the fence. Okay, I don't know how it goes. The whole fucking down border. Oh damn! Hey, how's that going? How's that going? Are you approaching the end? Are you ever going to approach the end, considering the length? By the way, very cool emote, that NATO one, very cool one, very cool. They need some machine gunners at the border. We'll solve that shit easily. They have been closing the border crossings now. They crossed like, I think they're supposed to cross all of them today, right? Is today 21st? What day is it today? 21st. Yeah, today all of them are supposed to be closed, right? It was 5 and then 4 were left, or numbers are the other way around, but basically bunch were closed, bunch were left, and now they're closing all of the other ones because Russia has started sending immigrants through the ones that remained open, which, you know, retrospect, 10 out of 10, but like it seemed like an obvious thing that Russia's gonna do. Why not just close all of them immediately? Why even give them a chance? Doesn't really seem like a smart thing to do. They're concerned about the human rights of Russians living in Finland. Oh shit, yeah, they can leave. They can invite them back. That's okay. They can take them all back to Russia. I'm sure their human rights are going to be much well respected there. That's fine. That's fine. They wanna, invite their citizens to return. I guess you guys are gonna be okay with that. I guess you will not miss them too much. A couple in the far north might stay open, yeah, until Russia starts sending immigrants there. And then you'll have to close those ones too. They're concerned about Russians in Estonia too, although they live better here than in Russia. To be fair, living better than you live in Russia is not really a hard standard to beat, is it? Sup Kim, how's life today? It's not like it's hard, Like, do they have toilets? They got roads leading up to their houses? They got heating? They got a heating system? Or are you living better than you would live in Russia? They are hard to get to, and if someone really needs to use them, they get to use those. I feel like Russia is going to abuse the fuck out of those. I feel it's gonna take a very short time until they just take a new batch of refugees, illegal immigrants, and send them to those border crossings, and then you will have to figure out what to do. We get robots delivering packages? Oh! Fun thing! Russians in Estonia get robots delivering packages for them. Russians in Ukraine get robots delivering packages for them. Huh. It's almost like some sort of a, national understanding. If that happens, we close those crossings. Okay, yeah, fair. Fair. Man, it's such a crappy situation. It's like Poland. Do you remember when Belarus was constantly doing this to Poles? So it would invite in a bunch of immigrants, and then it would send them over the border, and then the Poles were like, "Bro, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, this is a fucking political attack." There's nothing we can really do. You can't close the border because, if you have any humanity, it seems like a horrible decision to leave these people to just fucking starve out there. but also you can't let them all in, but you can't do anything. And no one's doing anything about Belarus because it's Belarus. So, you know, they have just been forced to suffer through it. And now you're seeing the same situation with Russia. It's like with Greece and Turkey, because they had a similar situation. And then whenever some immigrants would be out of the sea and needing rescue, then Greece would be blamed for it, as if, you know, it wasn't Turkey who was intentionally sending them over. That's just a stupid situation. Sometimes I look at you people, and I'm like, damn, Balkans is very peaceful. Balkans is very peaceful. Balkans is kind of, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have that. We don't have that. By the way, he does mention, let me show you something. He mentions in the video the first posts that started. Ooh! Ooh, look, I got a new inside scoop. Got a new inside scoop. That this dude somehow may be connected to us. Yeah, I would need to go and find his entire family tree. They're saying his mother is part Croatian, considering the fact that they are Italians. That could make sense. Considering the fact she's Italian, you know, his father might be Croatian. Maybe Norberto was just over that. I know stories about Italian women, and you know the statistics on like how many men in Europe are cuckolds and how many of them live and raise children that are not actually their kids. I'm just saying, in Italy, it's a triple-digit number. Russians have entered parts of Avdiivka. Oh yeah, I saw some videos. I saw one video, but we can't show it on stream. There's a compilation of a bunch of kills by a drone, and it's a horrible compilation. It's some videos that are holy shit. It's Ukrainians hitting Russian positions, right? And it just keeps on going and going and going and going. Man, it's such a long video. But then they mentioned that like this seems like a great thing, right? And you know, partially, yeah, holy shit, we fundraised for a lot of drones. A lot of these drones. One of the drone makers actually has responded in the comments of that video. You know, we crowdfunded a lot of these. These are our successes, but you know there's another batch of Russians coming, and then there's another batch, and then there's another batch, and then there's another batch. And the field, you look at the fields, they filmed the fields from up above, and you see like all of the explosion sites, and some of them are older and some of them are newer, right? And it's just, there's so many of them. And whenever they get a new, you know, hit, a little new one is added, and they just keep on being added. There's so many Russians, they're throwing in so many people. It's impossible to hold them off. Just, what a horrifying situation. Go donate for more drones, okay, so we can take more of them out. Is it a good thing? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know what to expect of him. This is a man, apparently at one point he said that he gets his policies from his dogs. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. When does he invade the Falkland? If he does an invasion, if he actually does an invasion, that's gonna be the funniest thing ever. Okay, his Croatian heritage is gonna be absolutely approved then. And may he do something dramatic. May he do something fun, okay? I hope he doesn't just become like a boring ass dude. 10,000 to 20,000 deaths to take a little cities, GG for them. Yeah, that's true. It's like they just keep on sending men, and then their men are dying, and then they keep on sending more, and then more of them die, and then they send more. It's fucking wild. You know, you kill hundreds, and you know there's hundreds coming, and then you kill 100, and then you know there's hundreds more coming, and your ammunition is limited, And your drones are limited, and your rockets are limited. You know what's not limited? The amount of people Russia is willing to see dead for this. Ridiculous. But hey, at least their economy is crumbling, so I'm kind of hoping they don't manage to do any sort of recovery. I'm hoping they are forced to basically crumble themselves from within. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to see it fall apart. Legalize sale of organs, privatize schools, privatize roads, and right to unionize, and carbon taxes, because climate change is fake. Embrace Austrian economics, because empirical data is fake. Ban abortion from conception, defund all government ministries. Yeah, I found that to be interesting. Like, you want to ban abortion? But like, your GG is selling organs? But you want to ban... What are we doing? What are we doing? He doesn't like military interventions? Ah, shit. Well, that, that takes away a big part of what I might be seeing as fun. That's kind of making me sad. I had high hope for this man. Okay, I hoped... How fun would it be if he sends a military intervention straight into Ukraine? Bro, that would be the funniest shit ever. I hope he does something interesting. I hope he does something a bit explosive. Fireworks and firecrackers will be banned. Zelensky, President of European Union. Come on. Zelensky, President of European Union. The law prohibits any fireworks and firecrackers as well as their use during events. The exception is staged pyrotechnics of the T1, T2 and F1 classes, which have a low noise level. I don't know which one those are. And pyrotechnics used by the armed forces of Ukraine, police and rescuers. Okay. I don't know what these ones are. Because I know we had a situation here where we tried to like ban a bunch of them, but not all of them. And then it turns out that they figured out a way to basically take the strong ones and how do I say this? Basically, they were still selling them. They just claimed that they belong in a different class than what they do. So I don't know if this is going to get abused in the similar way because I don't know what T1, T2, F1 is. But thank you, Zelensky. Thank you, Zelensky. Incredibly smart decision. Holy shit. Their economy, I don't think their economy is doing too well. But I think the biggest issue they are dealing with right now is the lack of workers, which is something that Putin has been bitching on at the start of the year and something that keeps on being a consistent issue that they point to, right? They keep on talking about not having enough people in the country, not having enough workforce in the country. So it seems to be limiting their economy quite a lot, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. The more men they kill on the front line, less workforce they have. As long as the rate of men getting killed is higher than the rate of new men entering, grown-up stage and being allowed to work, I think we might be seeing their economy going to where we want it to go, which is complete and total destruction. Now, a big problem is that, we don't have info on their economy because they control everything. They control everything. No information about the economy is reaching us before the Russian state itself approves it. So that's a big, big problem. We don't know how much effect we're having. I just think we know that we are having an effect, and I think that's very, very cool. Yay! The Lego models! Lego models! Have you seen the Lego models? They're so cool! Fuck, wait, I just remembered you sent a link previously and I didn't click on it. They made 3 Lego models and they're going to make more. So you can get the Lego models. You have to donate at least, was it 24? I think $24. And you get you get the possibility to earn the Lego model. Bro! I love Legos. I kind of want to get it. Oh, they collected more than 140 billion rubles in taxes in the annexed regions of Ukraine. Hey, see, yeah, this is connected, I feel, to that comment about Ukrainians in occupied areas being the new workforce. Bastards. The Federal Tax Service devoted a lot of effort, time, and intellectual resources to providing local companies with ease of official registration. We convert legal entities that were already registered there into the legal field of Russia. Oh. Wait, he attempted to annex 4 regions. How many of them does he still have? Women do it better anyways. I mean, you're kind of having the issue of, women also being sent to the front line. And then also the Russian state pushing them into giving birth to more babies because the demographics are looking kind of fucked. So I think overall the situation is kind of standing on very wonky legs, and I don't think it's going to be able to continue for much longer. Zero income tax and reduce insurance premiums for participants in the special economic zone. Special economic zone. Oh. Previously, Ministry of Economic Development estimated the total GDP of the annexed regions, which they don't fully control still, of Ukraine at 2 trillion rubles. Nominal volume of Russia's GDP in 2023 without annexed territories should be 157.777 trillion rubles. Way too much. Way too much. Way too much. We should sanction them harder so it gets even less. Let me find you the Lego. Legici. The smartest thing you can do is not to trust any Russian ever. That is true. They say something about the taxes, don't trust it. They say something about the economy, don't trust it. They say something about the war effort, don't trust it. Never trust a Russian. Prices on the market of captive Russians? Look at this. How cool is that? How cool is that? Come on! Very cool, very cool, very cool. Each set has 5 copies, and yeah, you gotta donate, and then you're gonna get one of the sets. If you're lucky. So go and donate so you get one of the sets, because they are very cool sets, and I love them. What is that? A link on how to buy a Russian? link on how to get one? The Russian told me his sun was shining today. I spit in his face, called him a liar. See? The based. Whatever they say, they're lying. Russian's like, hey guys, I'm having some rainy weather today. You look outside, it's raining. He's still lying. Okay? They raise a lot of money. Lego is already expensive and Lego collectors are crazy. Lego collectors might be giving the most money to this. That would be fucking great, imagine. If they just went balls in and kept on donating so they could have one of these sets. Oh shit, this should be marketed to them specifically. 39% of Russia's 2024 budget is going to defense. That's like what the USSR did during their Afghanistan war. And look how that ended for them. Oh, 39%. Defense they go though. Defense. We are defending ourselves. Did someone attack us? No. Did someone enter our territory? No. But we still need to give a lot of money for defense because we are defending in some way. I wanted to show you Zelensky's post for the start of Maidan, and I'm looking for it. Okay, here it is. There are enough words in this plan. If there is a real war, show us. Fuck, that will be based. Someone needs to remind the USA how they're being kind of bitchy. Have you seen the USA mission to NATO post yesterday? We are going to support Ukraine so it has the best possible position at the negotiating table.
Європейські народи. Ми відзначаємо сьогодні День Гідності і Свободи.
Insulting.
Державне свято встановлено на честь початку двох революцій – 2004-го та Революції Гідності 10 років тому. 10 років тому ми розпочали нову сторінку боротьби. 10 років тому українці провели свій перший контрнаступ проти беззаконня, спроби позбавити нас європейського майбутнього, проти нашої неволі. 10 років тому люди об'єднались не лише проти чогось, але й передусім за себе. Кожен за кожного. Всі ті, хто після силового свавілля відчув, це б'ють і мене, це боляче і мені. Це удари по справедливості і правді, свободі, по нашому спільному завтра. Яким воно буде, якщо ми промовчимо, проковтнемо, будемо боятись, а не боротись? І тоді фактично відбулась перша перемога у сьогоднішній війні. Перемога небайдужості, перемога хоробрості, перемога Революції Гідності, перемога народного спротиву, громадянського суспільства, подвигу героїв Небесної Сотні та всіх, хто боровся за свободу в столиці і інших регіонах. Позаду у нашого народу великий відрізок шляху, який ми вже подолали. Позаду мене сьогодні прапори України та Європейського Союзу. І сьогодні ми вправі сказати, це не просто прикраса площі, декорація, фікція, а реальний символ невід'ємності України від Європи. Право, на яку весь цей час доводить українська нація і українська держава. Рік за роком, крок за кроком ми робимо все, аби у колі зірок на прапорі ЄС, що символізує єдність. Єдність народів Європи сяяла і наша зірка, зірка України. 20 років тому це була романтична мрія. 10 років тому амбітна мета. Сьогодні це реалії, в яких уже неможливо зупинити наш рух вперед і подолання всіх обов'язкових стадій. Тож наш статус кандидата і подальші переговори про вступ мають неодмінно завершитись повноправним членством України в ЄС. І все це ми робимо попри війну, коли наші люди захищають і себе, і Європу вже зараз, бо маємо гідність і не дамо відібрати у нас свободу, бо маємо захистити свободу, аби не втратити гідність. Бо знаємо і пам'ятаємо одну із важливих мудростей, засвоєну нами давно. Як важливо не боятись, як важливо боротись. І щоразу, коли у нас хочуть щось відібрати, нас проти цьому стає все більше і більше людей. Коли барикади Майдану змінюються на окопи Донбасу, а згодом нас проти по всій лінії фронту, півночі, півдня, сходу, коли захист демократичних цінностей переростає в оборону суверенітету і територіальної цілісності, коли протидія диктаторам всередині країни стає спротивом окупантам і терористам ззовні, коли 24 лютого піднімається вся країна, коли на нові барикади піднімається увесь наш народ, бореться і б'ється, знаючи за що, пам'ятаючи все, переживши вже не одну зиму в вогні. І 10 років тому і минулоріч, вчора і сьогодні боролися і боремось. І в центрі столиці тоді, і на околицях Бахмута тепер, на Грушевського тоді, і під Харковом, під Херсоном, під Авдіївкою зараз. Всі, хто сміливо йшли у бій за свободу з дерев'яними щитами тоді, хто боронив країну у перші дні бойових дій на Сході, і всі, хто захищає нас на всіх напрямках з 24 лютого. Всі, хто не злякався ні гумових куль, ні світло-шумових гранат тоді, ні усієї разом взятої зброї і техніки так званої Другої армії світу тепер. Хто не боявся і не боїться виходити за свободу, загорнувшись в український прапор. На Майдані Незалежності в Києві тоді, на площі Свободи у Херсоні торік. Всі, хто самовіддано витягав поранених на Інститутській тоді, і всі, хто робить це зараз на полі бою. Всі, хто знає і доводить. Треба боротись і битись кожен за кожного у кожному епізоді протистояння. За одну будівлю чи за цілий регіон, за одну вулицю чи лівий берег всієї країни, за одну барикаду чи вздовж усього державного кордону України. І сьогодні
I'm trying to figure out the fucking roundabout behind him.
нашої історії, і сьогодні саме від нашого покоління залежить, який напрямок вона отримає, що напишуть про нас у підручниках історії, що скажуть про нас нащадки. Вони боролись, але не змогли, або вони бились і перемогли. Як і у кожної держави в історії нашої є темні і світлі сторінки, часи розквіту і часи розбрату, періоди слави, періоди руїн, які можуть тривати не одне десятиліття, які можуть гойдати з боку в бік, як, наприклад, історія місця позаду мене. Середини 19 століття, коли Європейська площа стає царською, а згодом площею Третього інтернаціоналу, а у часи окупації її планують перейменувати на честь Гітлера. І навіть після вигнання нацистів вона не стає знову європейською, а перетворюється на площу Сталіна, а згодом Ленінського комсомолу. І все це не просто таблички на будинках, це наслідки, які може мати невірний поворот на перехресті історії. Якщо на зміну державним діячам приходять політикани, коли борються за крісла, а не за людей, коли власне его стає важливішим за власну країну, коли не стоять до кінця і до статусу лідер, глава, гетьман додається приставка в еміграції. Коли ворогу вдається розколоти внутрішню єдність, коли ми сваримось, а потім втомлюємось, зневірюємось, а потім виживаємо у нових періодах нової неволі і бездержавності, коли ворогу вдається підірвати міжнародну підтримку і солідарність, коли цивілізований світ починає шукати компроміси з терористами і йти на поступки
Which
тирану,
memorial if it's
тоді
repaired and has light?
неодмінно програємо ми всі.
Hey, have you seen there's
Україна,
possibility of investigation
Європа,
against Arestovich?
світ. Програємо, наївно думаючи, що з ними може бути нічия.
Might happen.
Нічия
Might.
неможлива. Ми сильні,
I was like, hey,
маємо
we
бути
could.
сильними, бо тільки у сильних вірять,
True.
тільки сильні творять
So we
майбутнє.
can be simping on
Тільки
Twitch too.
сильні
So I
можуть
don't just
бути
have to be simping
єдиними.
on Twitter.
Єдиними, аби стати вільними. Вільними, аби бути гідними. Заради нових часів, коли центральні
cool
площі
Maidan,
наших
come on.
міст отримують нові і назавжди незмінні
What a
назви
cool
на
man,
честь
is he?
героїв, на честь
It's
визволителів
incredible.
Маріуполя, Бердянська, Мелітополя, на честь звільнення Донбасу, Криму, на честь
You look at like
воз'єднання
who was
України у
leading
своїх
us during the war.
кордонах, коли у
Okay, our
книгах
wars are a
з
bit different
історії
though.
через роки і
Very
століття
different.
про період
In some
незалежності
regards.
з 1991
But you know there's
року
conversations
писатимуть
about the fact that we
як
were
про
able to
безперервний
close the bridge. There's like one bridge crossing from which Serb paramilitaries entered Croatian territory. We were able to close the bridges. An interesting way to say it. We were able to blow up the bridge, and our president didn't allow it. Our president was like, nope, the bridge has to stay because the bridge is a symbol of unity of our people. The bridge is a symbol of unity of Yugoslav people. You can't destroy it. And then Arkan and his people crossed over with the same bridge, made it unable to destroy because, you know, suddenly they were the ones controlling both sides of the border crossing. So they just kept on coming. Just dumbass. You people are led by a great man. Member of Rada reported Stovic to the police for his statements about violence against women. Oh, it was that. Oh, I didn't know what it was. I just saw an investigation. I was like, I wonder who he pissed off this time. It was women. It was more, we built it for people, not to ruin it. Yeah. What a cowardly thing, isn't it? We could have avoided so many casualties if we weren't, you know, idiots. Fucking idiots. I'm a pedophilia. Same pain, isn't it? In that situation, I guess we are quite similar. That was stupid. That was fucking stupid. That's the worst thing. I mean, the worst thing. The fact the bridge wasn't destroyed was the worst thing. They kept on talking about how the bridge is. The bridge was built by people close to the border, because it was basically, they had a thing in communist Yugoslavia, which was like the people crowdfunded to build the shit, right? So people from areas close to where the bridge is, they crowdfunded the most to build the bridge. And the president, when he was asked to blow up the fucking thing so Serb military doesn't cross over, he was like, no, actually, like, people from these areas crowdfunded for it, I will not destroy their cash money. Croatia, which had been one of the biggest contributors towards the economy of Yugoslavia, it was Slovenia and it was Croatia, right? We were like the powerhouses. So Croatia gave more cash money for that fucking thing. And Croatians go, dude, they're going to kill us. Like, you're talking about us, you're talking about Croats in areas close to where the bridge is, in close to border areas, right? We are the ones who crowdfunded the most. We know this is going to be our cash money being blown the fuck up. We're okay with that. We just would you know, prefer it. We would not like the option of being killed instead. And he just kept on being like, oh, no, you guys built this to symbol unity. You guys built this to symbol, you know, the brotherhood and unity. It was like a slogan, bratstvo, jedinstvo, brotherhood and unity of people of Yugoslavia. Like, we can't just blow it up. It's going to, you know, it's going to look really, really bad for our unity with Serbs. So, yeah, you know, I don't know if Arkan butchering civilians around looked better for the unity, but that was the result at the end. So, yeah. Oh, what did I want to click on? I wanted to click on something. Oh, here it is. So, if you've learned anything, destroy the bridges. If there's a bridge, destroy it. If there's a bridge you're thinking about destroying, destroy it. If the president tells you to not destroy a bridge, that's an even better reason to just destroy it. Free firewood. Those can't pay off military commissars.
Муж, который сразу после начала мобилизации решил, что не может оставаться в стране, и ушел добровольцем защищать интересы Родины.
Супруг мой вообще пошел сам добровольцем за повесткой. 25 октября отправился 2022 года в зону СВО.
Как отнеслись к его решению?
Плакали. До сих пор переживаем, ждем. Но это необходимо.
Решение мужа Ольга не оспаривала. Он так решил. Конечно, дома его ждут, но вот из-за отсутствия мужчины некоторые простые дела стали непосильными. Например, нужны были дрова для бани, а привезти их возможности не было.
Дрова на баню прочитала, что можно будет выписать. Вот этот вот посильный вклад, он очень важен для нас, потому что очень трудно без мужчины, очень трудно без какой-то помощи.
Вот и сейчас ребята довольно быстро справились. Гора дров стремительно уменьшалась, а вот поленница пополнялась. По признанию хозяйки, этих дров хватит на всю зиму. Возможно, даже бойцу удастся приехать в отпуск в ближайшее время и попариться в бане.
Надеюсь, что муж в декабре все-таки приедет в отпуск, так как он был последний раз в отпуске 9 марта, уже пошел 10-й месяц, и я надеюсь, что все-таки он приедет в отпуск и тоже будет пользоваться.
Cute. Over half of people in China, Saudi Arabia and Russia believe European Union will fall apart in the next 20 years. More than 40% think so in Turkey, India and South Africa. Even in the US it's 34%. Why do they say even in the US? Why say even in the US? You're talking about a country where people like regularly are polled and they say they will vote for Trump. What do you mean even in the US? What's with that? What's with that? I don't think it's going to fall apart, to be honest. I don't see it. I see this as the measurement of the delusion of a nation, basically. Like, it's not, why the fuck would it fall apart? We're doing okay-ish, we're doing absolutely fine, and it's a benefit to many nations within it. Why would it fall apart? Why in the fucking world would it fall apart? The reforms, we're going to say the reforms could be a danger. Huh? Because we're going to need to reform the system right now. Maybe something related to that, but even that, I don't really think we're going to lose it. You sure you want to play this game? Taiwan is Chinese, Ukraine is Russian, Mongolian. Please, please, please encourage them to enter the fight. Please. He died while detonating a bridge to slow Russian invasion. Man. He detonated a bridge, killing himself in the process, in an effort to prevent Russian tanks from advancing. Man. He was the one who agreed to destroy the mined bridge. He didn't manage to get away from that. According to his brothers in arms, Vitaly got in touch and said he was going to blow up the bridge immediately after an explosion rang out. Man. I think it says when they started from Crimea. On this difficult day for a country, when Ukrainian people give away to the Russian occupiers in all directions, one of the hardest places on the map of Ukraine was Crimean intersection, when one of the first enemies met a separate marine battalion. In order to stop the promotion of the tank column, a decision was made to overthrow the Gnishkar bridge. Bullshit. Man. Yeah. Russia began a long-feared invasion of Ukraine earlier this week. So yeah, the start of this. Putin's aggression towards Ukraine has been widely condemned by the international community, including with economic sanctions and NATO troops massing in the region. Bro, how fucking hopeful were they at the start of this, huh? NATO troops massing in the region. Great. Fucking great. Biden said he would be deploying troops only in support of NATO countries. Concrete obstacles on Narva Bridge. Oh, nice. Oh, those are some obstacles. That's an obstacle if I've ever seen one. Estonians sure know how to make you not cross their border. My oh my. If I want to go over, I'm not sure how I would be able to do that. Estonians, what is this? Are you just keeping them in case? Ah, that makes sense. I was like, damn, who are you stopping with that shit? Some ultra extra white cars, I guess. In case the Estonian government decides to follow the example of neighboring countries, Finland, and close the border with the Russian Federation in order to prevent a wave of illegal migrants. Yeah, you probably should, to be fair, you probably should do that now. If they can't send them to Finland anymore, they will try a new entrance. 8 Somali nationals attempted to cross the border and were sent back to Russia. We received information there have been similar cases at other border crossing points in Russia. Yeah, close it. Fucking close it. As of now, the situation has not progressed. Close it. Close it. It's already doing you no good to have a border with Russia in the first place. Might as well keep it closed. Migration attack in the direction of Estonia. Yeah, close it. Fucking close the border. We will not allow the illusion this can be tested on our border to arise. I doubt the Somali nationals thought of this themselves. The message we are sending and for which we are acting. One cannot enter European Union through Estonia in this way. Close the border. East Estonia is 95% Russians. I don't think Eastern Estonia should be asked about this decision. I think the crossing should just be blocked. just block the crossing. They're going to be like, I just really wanted to go to Russia. Putin is missing my daily blowjob session. And you just go, yeah, sucks to be you. Go live there. Use another border crossing. Travel all the way to Georgia and then cross into Russia. I don't care what you do. I don't give a shit what you do. But, no. No, put into, I don't think they should be asked. I don't think they should be asked. I don't think at any point we should be like, what do Eastern Estonians want? They're mostly Russians. Why would you ask? Why would you ask? One Ukrainian channel was speaking about game and war for independence in America. War for independence? Sounds like whole history of Ukraine since Mongols? Yeah, I guess. I guess. A special military operation to save 5% Estonians in East Estonia being oppressed. Ooh, yeah, we should do that. Yeah. Send NATO troops. Send NATO troops in immediately. Someone let Biden know. Maybe he suggests bombing something again. From now on, Russia will start concentrating. Finland is very important to elites from St. Petersburg. Who the fuck asked? Why isn't St. Petersburg important to elites from St. Petersburg? The fuck you want to do in Finland? Just fuck off.
То, что решила Финляндия, это не то же самое, что раньше сделали страны Прибалтики или Польша. Абсолютно. То есть место, которое занимала, допустим, какая-нибудь Латвия, даже со своей Юрмалой, абсолютно несопоставимо с тем местом, вот и в русском современном историческом мифе, и в нашей жизни последние 30 лет, которые занимала так называемая финка. И то, что Финляндия воздвигает железный занавес, он не буквально железный, вы же понимаете. Но закрытая граница — это и есть железный занавес. Вот она говорит о том, в какую жизнь мы с вами вошли, лучше, чем что бы то ни было. Потому что она об этом говорит, она об этом кричит. том числе и членам Совета Безопасности, и довольно большому числу и действующих, и бывших министров. Ну, по крайней мере, тех людей, которые, опять-таки, повторяю, родом из Питера. Для питерских элит Финляндия – это очень важное место. Вот именно с этого момента, я предположу, Россия всерьез начнет сосредотачиваться.
You heard it here first, guys. All those blown up Russians, that was Russia just playing along. That was Russia just, having little fun, just casually doing their little hobby of sending men to die. Now they're going to start doing things seriously. Now they will start to actually, get their head in the game. So far they were not. My friend who travels there sometimes changes the language from Russian to Estonian at self-check. Next Vatnik is always so confused. Man, the fact they've been living that for such a long time and they still don't speak the fucking language, it's so weird. It's so weird, Oh, my guy's in Kherson. He's in Kherson. Strike was inflicted on gathering of Russian troops during an award ceremony. Also, why the fuck do they do award ceremonies? By they, I mean militaries. I know it's not just Russians doing it. I know Ukrainians are also doing it. Lots of people died recently on one award ceremony, right? Why do them? Why do them in the middle of war? Would we not have an easier time? Maybe just, organizing these when soldiers are on a leave and they can come to Kyiv and get their awards at safe spots. Why do them at the front line? I feel it would work for morale if, the last award ceremony wasn't blasted into pieces. Now I guess they organize it and, morale is less, yay, I'm gonna get an award, and more, oh fuck. I'll have to be looking at the sky all the time to, see if something is coming. Zelensky is ready to meet with former US President Donald Trump and familiarize himself with his plan for ending the war in Ukraine. You know what this means? This means that Zelensky is certain Trump is winning. Zelensky is certain Trump is going to be the next president of USA, so he's trying to get close to the dude. Well, there's still a possibility to get close to the dude. The officer ignored air siren and warnings. Shit. Like I was surely they're not gonna hit us. Surely they're not gonna hit us. Andrushko, honored artist of Ukraine. He recently returned to Ternopil. Man, honored artist of Ukraine. I feel there's a possibility to manipulate Trump. I genuinely feel there's a possibility to manipulate Trump into doing something. I feel it could be done. It's like, what's the name of that woman in USA politics? Yeah, button stays like this, we're screwed too, yeah, that's true. The Nikki. I think Nikki is a great representation of how Republicans can be pushed into doing something, right? Because the arguments she uses are great. The arguments she uses for defending Ukraine are great, right? I feel Trump might be possible to push towards those same arguments, I feel he might be able to be like, hey Trump, you could become a hero. You could become a hero. You could become a hero of the free world by going in there and defeating Russia. It breaks the axis of evil immediately. It ensures the safety and stability of Europe, strengthening your economy even more. You could become a hero. You could tell to everyone, hey, look at Biden. Look at this pussy-ass fucker who did nothing, who did the bare minimum to help Ukraine. And then look at me, and I got into power, and I actually fixed the situation. Look at me, Trump, being the hero, and he would be a hero. There would be a statue to him, immediately in Kyiv. I feel it would be possible. There's not going to be a nuclear war. Russia is not going to use a nuke. So, that's the war Russia will definitely lose. Okay, fair, that too. USA is definitely going to know the second Russia is planning to use something. So absolutely. But there's not going to be a nuke used. You don't have to be Nostradamus. Russian elites will not choose to die for Putin. They will not agree to die for that man. And there is nothing that awaits them if they use a nuke but death. There's not going to be a nuke used. No more weapons for Ukraine. Make peace now. I don't know. I feel like it would be possible to push him. Russian oligarchs, Russian leaders close to Putin have to approve the use of a nuke. Putin can't just press the button. There's a whole... Yeah, mostly childhood friends, to be fair. But like, childhood friends. KGB friends. But yeah, there's a whole list of people who have to approve the use of a nuke. Putin can't just press a button and use a nuke. It has to be approved. And the likelihood of it being approved by other people is extremely low. We're talking about guys who have spent their entire lives stealing from people of Russia to build a good life for themselves, to build a good life for their family. They're not going to allow all of that to get blown up into pieces for Putin. They're not going to do that shit. Hey yo. Oh yeah, 31 Abrams tanks is insulting. Yeah, definitely. Man. No, they're not crazy like him. They're not. They are rational actors. Also, they're... What do you mean already old? Who are you even talking about? Who in the world are you talking about? Putin almost sent 10,000 mercenaries to Catalonia? What? What? I know what you responded to. You're making no sense. No, it's not true. Oligarchs have no say in Russia. Who do you think their politicians are? Who do you think is supposed to replace Putin if he dies? Who's the next in line? He acts completely rational? Definitely. Oh, absolutely. He is acting completely rational in his dumbass idea of existing. He is acting rational, and I believe so are the people close to him, and they will not use a nuke to wipe out everything they have created out of existence. Talking about that, have you seen Peskov recently doing that interview? He claimed his daughter, who was studying in France for a while, he claimed she was living... How was it? What word did he use? Spartan lifestyle? There's images of that woman in very expensive dresses, flying around, drinking champagne. He claimed she was having a horrible, horrible life. Fucking Peskov, out of all the people. You know, that man's not dying for Putin. You think that man would be like, yeah, I'm okay with my daughter getting blown up into pieces for this old crazy man leading the country? Nuh-uh, my dude. Nuh-uh. Even if Russia loses, they still keep their riches. You think these men are going to be paying the sanctions? They will not be paying the sanctions. You think Solovyov's kids are going to be paying the reparations? Think his kids are gonna go on trial for genocide approval? The fuck they will. Solovyev himself isn't going to go there. It's going to be a bunch of rural Russians who wrote a couple of very angsty Facebook posts. None of these rich fuckers is going anywhere. They're going to stay strong. They're going to keep on existing because the West is not really willing to put any of them to rot in prison forever. They're going to be fine. They know they're going to be fine whatever happens to Russia in this war. They will not die for Putin. Putin is the only one whose existence is actually endangered by the possibility of Russia losing. Everyone else, they're just gonna blame him. Didn't they already attempt that? I'm pretty sure. No, it was Girkin who attempted it, right? It was Girkin who attempted it. Girkin who did the whole thing with like, oh yeah, guys, we're losing some ground. We're losing a lot of soldiers. It's the fault of the old dude in Kremlin. I'm just saying, it's not our fault. Like, all of us, we were based and we had a chance to win. We had a real chance. And when we entered the war, we knew we had a real chance. And then this old fucker, he destroyed everything. He was given horrible orders. He was given horrible funding. He's the one to blame for everything. And that's what everyone else is going to do. All of them are going to wash their hands and they're going to say, it was Putin. It was just Putin who did it. No one else. It was Putin's fault, all of it. They know. They know they're going to be fine. They're not allowing their entire lives to get blown to pieces because of Putin. Even if they lose all of Ukraine, they'll be fine. Yeah, that's true. No one's touching Russia, definitely. Putin not caring for wife or children. I think the problem is that Putin is the only person whose existence is actually in danger in case Russia loses the war. He is aware that if they lose, his wife and his children are on the losing side. Because the losing side is very likely going to be just Putin himself. He's aware they go down with them, right? If you want to protect your family, if you want to protect your legacy, you must win this war. Because if you don't, you basically have nothing left, right? It's not the same for Peskov. Peskov's just going to be like, yeah, guys, you know how it is here in the lands of Russia? I wasn't able to tell you guys the truth because Putin was always telling me what to say. It's all his fault. It's the bald dude's fault. They're all going to blame him. It's gonna be like, who was that dude we read about yesterday? The dude who was executed for being a Nazi. And how one of his defenses was that he wasn't actually an official with responsibility. He was just following orders, right? So like, oh, I didn't choose to participate in killing of people. I was just told to drive these people to these places where I knew they were being killed. Well, like I didn't volunteer to do it. I was told to go there, it's not really my fault. A lot of Russians are gonna do the same exact thing. Of like, I didn't choose to start this war. No, Putin just told me, to do this, and I did it because he's my authority. Ivan's. Wait, we didn't give enough attention to this one. In November 1939, Winter War invasion was such a raging success. You only had 120,000 soldiers. Eichmann, true. Eichmann. Yeah, his son himself said that his refusal to repent has caused very difficult feelings in the family. Like, I feel they were watching the trial and they knew he was talking shit. They were watching that trial, and in the trial he goes, I didn't want to do it. I was forced to. And they were like, Dad's lying. Dad's lying on court. Fuck him. Have you heard the Ukrainian version of this? What you think? What you think my real name might be? Try to have 3 guesses. Oh yeah, Putin himself is gonna be like, guys, it wasn't me, I'm just clone number 14. It was actually the real Putin. Stores every Russian publicly declaring support for war. You thinking of Mirotvorets? I don't know what the channel is though, really, but useful. Victor. My name is Victor. Yes, indeed. I'm actually a dude. You heard it here first. I got a big old dick. Vikimirovich. Am I a sub suddenly? Why did you subify me? That's almost insulting. Vikimirovich. Yefremov after Maidan with speech on Ukrainian Vatnik TV that everything is Yanukovych's personal fault. Yeah, that's true, as if he didn't need the government behind him, you know. But it's easy to pick a villain and then everyone, you know, else gets forgiven because the villain is the only villain actually, no one else. No one else did bad things. So this $10,000. By the way, did you see the new collection? Because the new collection is gorgeous. Actually, I don't know if the new collection is gorgeous or if the dude modeling. The new collection is gorgeous, but it's gorgeous. Where do they say? Somewhere they say how much cash money they made overall with this. I don't know where it is, but it was a lot. Look at the collection. Look at this thing. Oh, I really want it. I really want it. I already spent all of my money, all of my budget money for this month on Christmas presents that I also bought from Ukraine. So for me, it kind of counts as a donation, right? But man. And it's in proper colors. I like these muted colors for my clothing recently. I like, you know, these like very neutralish tones. Come on, look at this thing. Look at this fucking thing. How cool is that? It's so simple, you know, the designs are so simple. I love them so much. I think they're so cool. But I'm a poor bitch and I have to wait. What did they sell out? They sold out something. That one. Oh, that one they sold out. Oh, that was cool. Oh, that was cool. Oh yeah, it's a bit more expensive because they're all made in Ukraine. All of them are made in Ukraine, and also a part of cash money goes for donations. So it's like you get the shirt, plus you do a donation, so they're able to do stuff like that, you know? It's like a 2-in-1 type of a deal. It's like what I did with my Christmas presents. I bought them from Ukrainian businesses specifically, because there's, I think, 10% of my purchase goes directly to help the armed forces of Ukraine. So it's like you get the thing, and you do pay more for the thing, but this more is for the donation, so like it makes sense, right? Stream of Zelensky on Twitch in the pool. with the possibility he will paint himself with the nickname of a donor on United 24. I should do that. I should start doing that. I feel Zelensky is a man too serious to do stuff like that. I should do that. Donate to United 24. Donate at least $1 and I put your name on myself. That's what I'm gonna do for my yearly leave from work, okay? Because I have my vacation coming soon. And then if I paint your names on myself and I'm unable to wash them off, it's not going to create an awkward work situation. We cannot do that, Chad. Make Mongolia great again. Yeah. Please? 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 Come on. Where is it? Let's go. What did I pause here? Oh, yeah. Guys, look, by the way, look, here are your reminders, okay, that you can help Ukrainians organize a holiday surprise for the Russians by donating to communication equipment that Pritula is collecting for. So, go and click on the link in chat and help. Okay, help. It's holiday planning, technically. You don't need this cash money anyways. What are you gonna do with this cash? You're gonna buy some Pokemon cookies? Is that what you're doing with your cash money? Buying Pokemon cookies? Buying subscriptions to people? Come on. You know what it would be better used for? Funding drone videos. Fuck, wait, I wanted to switch this up and I forgot where. Not important things? Yeah. Main thing is Ukrainian women leaving future demographics are going to change the Ukrainian population is going to decline. I mean, it's very similar to issues that all of our countries were dealing with during time of the war. They're going to be fine. Lots of people have still stayed in Ukraine. Lots of people are going to return to Ukraine after the war is done. Now, of course, it depends on how the other countries organize refugee status. But for example, I know when Balkan women, Croatian women specifically, were refugees in lots of other European countries during the war here. When the war ended in 1995, they had to return. You know, you lose your refugee status because your country is not in a war anymore, so then you return. You either get a permit to stay if you have some fancy-ass jobs. Most of them didn't have fancy jobs, so you just return. I don't really think it's going to be a big problem. That's the wrong way to say it. I don't feel it's going to be a unique problem. I don't feel it's going to be a problem that Ukraine itself has not dealt with before, or that other countries who lived through wars have not dealt with before. So I feel they're going to be fine. That's my view on it, you know. I feel they're going to be just okay. Plus, like, a lot of them are already in neighboring countries. It's going to be rather easy for them to just gonna trip back. Let's go. Oh, give no sound. Fair. Let's go. Oh, look at us. Oh, look at us. Not being in the best situation out there in the Balkans. If Russia wins, Russian men... Oh, if Russia wins, yeah, there's going to be a genocide happening, definitely. Oh, yeah. No, definitely. Russians are planning a whole genocide. If Russians manage to win, yeah, there's not going to be Ukrainian population at all. This isn't just about, you know, whether Ukrainian women are leaving or not. If Russia wins, even if all Ukrainian women stay, Ukrainian nation will be eradicated. Russians do not want a neutral Ukraine. Russians do not want a obedient Ukraine. Russians want no Ukraine at all. Cheering for this though, yeah, genuinely. Russians are waging a war of genocide. I think it's important to, you know, remember that. Hey, Michelle is in Kyiv, President of European Council. The American one was in Kyiv yesterday. Have you seen the speech? This is interesting. This is interesting. Almost makes me hope these two have something in plan, but they probably don't. Destroyed Russian tank was brought to Finland as part of an exhibition organized by Ukrainians to remind that the war is still not over. Russians bring flowers to honor their fallen soldiers. Here I bring a flower for a crew of this tank, which counted rapists and then murderers and then some thieves. And they were all released from prison to be able to go to Ukraine to kill people there. Here's a little rose for their suffering by not managing to do a genocide quickly. Bulgarian arms manufacturer poisoned by Russian agents twice, warned about Russian sabotage against his arms manufacturing facilities, which form the backbone of NATO's munition supplies to Ukraine. He has... Bro, imagine a situation where we just say this. Hey, this is a Bulgarian arms manufacturer. He has been poisoned by Russian agents twice. We just say it. We just say it. As if it's a normal thing, you know. Hey guys, Russians are poisoning our people. What can you do? Maybe we should bring them to the negotiating table. Maybe we negotiate. They try to poison less of our people. Well, I feel setting up a number would be a nice little thing, wouldn't it? Why the fuck did we not smoke the shit out of that entire nation already? He sounded the alarm over continuous Russian sabotage against his arms manufacturing facilities and alleged Russian infiltration in Bulgaria's government. Man. He claimed Russian intelligence infiltrated the Bulgarian government. Who? Bulgaria has been too exposed and relaxed, offering a convenient environment for the GRU agents to operate freely. Gerb. There has been no result whatsoever in any of more than a dozen cases involving Russian terrorist acts and spy networks in Bulgaria. Six GRU officers have been charged over the incidents. However, Russia does not extradite its citizens, so there is difficulties in bringing them to justice. Resident of Moscow committed suicide in a shooting club after he received a summons to the army. Oh damn, a good Russian. Oh, 1992? Latvia just regained independence and sent Russian soldiers back to Russia. Drunk Russians told Latvians, we always fucked you in the past and we will fuck you in the future. He didn't do anything.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Earlier that day.
Нагнись, я тебе сказал. Я тебе сказал, нагнись. И собери мусор. Понял? Стоп, ребята, вот мои. Вот так, вот и давай собирай. Сейчас соберу, не кричать. Сейчас соберу. Сейчас соберу. Только надо снимать. Уберите камеру. А что? Ах, надо снимать. Да, снимать надо. Бля, подожди, мы сейчас мы соберем, бля. Это начинается хуйня. Убери эту камеру. Мы тебя нормально убери эту камеру. Надо. Убери эту камеру. Убери камеру. Я тебя ударь меня. Ударь. Сколько тебе лет, братан? Ударь. Я в 18. Знаешь, бля, он да. Я в Сухуми также стоял, понимаешь? Это из атмосферы. Была бригада создана, но она была втянута в политику. Она была втянута просто в политику.
Oh, look at this, the same thing. Our guys were not guilty, they were just following the orders. Yeah, it's hard for me to wait until they are shown on like the dark background. See, like this? Yeah, like this. Then it's easy, but like most of the times the red and the blue ones both, I can't read them. They didn't put the thing where subtitles have like the outline, so it's easier to read them. They didn't do that. See, like this, it's impossible. Fucking impossible. And then you gotta wait for them to be brought to somewhere else, so you're actually able to read them. It's fucking torture. Yeah, you can get channel points and you can change the flag to something normal. To something appropriate. Let's fist fight 1-to-1, he goes. These same people denazified Moldova in 1992. Ah, and I guess then they helped Chechens liberate themselves from the occupation of a democratically chosen government. Send the soldiers back, but not the civilians. Yeah, true. True. I feel it would be hard, though, to kick out civilians just based on their ethnicity, you know? I understand why it seems questionable to be like, hey, you're a civilian, but of this ethnicity I dislike. I love this part though. I love this part of how they just go in and then there's suddenly a bunch of people being like, I didn't do anything. It reminds me, we have a thing in Croatia recently. We raised a statue to one of our journalists. And one of our neo-Nazi youth has taken it upon himself to vandalize the statue because, you know, why not? You're a fucking neo-Nazi and you hate this dude that you see a symbol of Yugoslavia and fighting against the Ustaše, right? So he takes it upon himself to vandalize this statue, and then he got arrested, and then he cried. It's always people like that who are the biggest cowards existing, aren't they? Hey, yo, Chapo, how are you doing? It's always people like this. It's like, hey, we're gonna fuck you up in 1993. And then you actually enter the train where they are in, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't do anything. I didn't do shit. It's not my fault. I did nothing. I'm not guilty. Now you're gonna be a little bitch. Have the balls to be a little bitch. Latvia. Ooh, I think. Fuck, was it Latvia? Was it Lithuania? Who was it? Was it Latvia? Was it Lithuania? I never know which one it is, because they're all low countries. Latvia has backed away from rules to expel thousands of Russians. Where's my Latvians? I have to bully some Latvians. I have to let some Latvians know that they're little pussies. Have to let some Latvians know that they're little pussy ass bitches. Find me one of the streamers. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna be like, hey, why are you a little pussy ass bitch boy? Do you have any explanation? Can we get a, you know, elaboration on this decision? Just deport all of them. Holy shit. Oh, 10,000 of them could be deported. Yeah, okay. Okay. Oh no. Very sad. What are you going to do without all of these Latniks in your country? You're going to live a pleasant life? Damn. Shit. Horrible. Scary, scary. I'm not doing good personally. I have to go to work soon. I have to go to work in like an hour approximately. So I'm not doing good. Doing quite badly actually. Doing quite unwell. Doing quite... You know that mindset where you look at communists being like, we gotta start a revolution. And part of you is like, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. Like I probably would get 2 days off work if a revolution happens in the country. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad. That's the mindset I'm in right now. They just lock the doors and say, we stay here, please don't send us back to Mother Russia. I mean, learn the language then. That's kind of the dumbest thing about that whole thing, isn't it? Like, they don't want to go back, okay? So just follow the fucking rules and learn the fucking language. How hard can it be to learn it on a conversational level? You've been living there. You've been living there. Surely you needed some words previously. Surely you heard it spoken in some parts of the country before. It's conversational level. You can get conversational level of anything on Duolingo in like a week. Just learn it up to a conversation level, go there, do the little test, you stay in the country. Why are they always so passive? It's like they think they have the social contract with every other government, the same way they have it with the Russian one, isn't it? Like, oh yeah, Russian government makes us not do anything, and they're happy when we don't do anything, so we don't do anything and we stay home and we stay here, you know? And it's like they expect it out of every other government. No. There's some requirements for you to fulfill. Just fulfill them. How hard is it? Like, you need to know German language already to come to Germany, to go there and to seek a job there, you know? Stuff like that. Of course you would need to know the language. Just know the fucking language. Hey, I saw this. Listen, you losers. Okay, how many of you have been on a lunch with a beautiful, beautiful lady recently? Look me in the eyes. Look me in the eyes. How many of you? 0. It's 0. I know it's 0. Okay, maybe 1. Maybe 1. I have a feeling some of you are thoughts and you're pretending not to be. But you can get a Thanksgiving leftover lunch over Zoom with a very, very beautiful lady if you send donations to the Winnick Foundation. So come on, let's go help rebuild Ukraine, and you may hang out with a lady. Yeah, it works, doesn't it? It works because she's a lady and she's a very pretty one.
Hey guys, it's almost
Look at her, she's speaking
and the
to
Winnick
you.
Foundation is doing something super special. Every new
She's
donation
speaking to you.
gets submitted for a leftover Thanksgiving lunch with me.
Is an anime figurine gonna speak to you?
Below. The money goes to
No, the only way an anime figurine speaks to you is if you hold it and you go, I'm an anime figurine. I love you very much. That's you speaking to yourself. That's not really healthy. That's not really staying. Maybe you should speak to a real woman. Look at her. Beautiful, beautiful. Isn't she from Vikings? I have no idea. I just know she's very, very beautiful.
So please donate to the link below.
I don't know who she is. I have no idea where she's from. She's just gorgeous. She's very, very pretty looking. Says actor, so I guess she could be. Look at her. Very pretty, very, very pretty woman. Come on. You could, oh yeah, I guess, yeah, I remember this. Very pretty woman, and you could be the one having a dinner with her. Come on. Very pretty looking woman. Go. What do you think is a thought? I can't reveal it. I don't think it's Bhopal on the account of all thoughts I know. are people who don't care about other people's sexual lives. I feel if you're a person who cares about whether someone else is gay or straight or trans, I feel you're not really having a good sexual life. That's been my experience so far. All thoughts I know are people who don't give a shit, to be completely honest. And I know quite a lot of thoughts. I know a nice, healthy amount of thoughts. It's people who are healthy, you know? When you see those people going on Twitter and engaging in culture wars, oh, trans women reading to children is so horrible, oh. Those aren't thoughts. Those are people who have cold beds at home. Those are not people who are having a lot of sex. I wish I was a pimp. You know how much cash money pimps make? How much cash money pimps make? Bro, I wish. I mean, she is political. If political people are your type of a person, she is political, and she's political in the best way because she supports Ukraine. So, you know, feels good. Feels good. I'm just saying, you want to talk politics? Why wouldn't you talk politics to a very, very pretty looking woman? I would want to talk politics to a very, 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 very pretty looking woman. Brief history of crime? What is that? That her? I might change my mind on the woman. I might be... What's with this stupid ass hairstyle? Does he have that hairstyle where like this is shaved and you have just like pook on top of your head? He does. Why? Why? It looks like... You know what it looks like? You know those fake hairs that people wear in old movies? Those fake... She posted twice about Elon Musk. Okay, you may rethink. Maybe you can fix her. She's very pretty looking. She's very hot. She's very pretty. Maybe you can fix her. Maybe you can help her see the light. But it looks like one of those fake hairs that people would just like plop on top of their head. Just being nice to him in case he helps Ukraine. Oh, she's trying to fix him. Oh, she's using her power as a very hot-looking woman to try and persuade men into doing something to earn her affection, which in this case is going to be supporting Ukraine. Okay, smart. Smart. One woman character is really cute, but so what? Everybody's criticizing, especially girls screaming. That's cruel. Sluts are the backbone of society, okay? Sluts are the backbone of society. Everyone should go through a slut phase at least once in their life. In the good old days, you would conquer a continent for a woman. Yeah, now you can just conquer Russia. Why ain't he doing it? Come on, Elon. Maybe that weird woman that he used to be dating, maybe she would actually like him if he did go and conquer Russia. You know, I feel that might be a proper way to earn her love. Didn't he like buy Twitter because she didn't like him? No, he bought Twitter because his daughter hates him. Go and conquer Russia. Maybe your daughter will like you then. You know, I'm just saying. It's something he hasn't tried, and Russia is there for the taking. Just go. Just try. What's the worst thing that could happen? In the worst case scenario, you have Russia conquered. In the best case scenario, you have Russia conquered and the respect of a woman in your life whose respect you desire. I see no downside. Catherine Winnick has a 3rd black belt in Taekwondo, 2nd dan in Karate. Licensed bodyguard? She started her own martial arts school. She's trying to lower his guard so he would come to hang out with her so she can beat his ass. She wants to break him like a twig. I support this woman. I have changed my mind again. I support this woman. He bought Twitter because he wanted to ban people who made mean tweets. That's true, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, didn't he ban that one dude from Twitter who was complaining about Tesla? But I'm pretty sure he gave an interview in which he was like, yeah, my daughter hates me. My daughter kind of hates me. Because I think he thinks she got indoctrinated into some like the leftist ideology or whatever, so she hates him now. So then he bought Twitter partially to try and control the narrative around him. And it worked about as well as you would expect it to work. Brilliant but pretty socially inept. I feel brilliant would be a term I would use for a lot of people. Not Elon Musk though. Yeah, I particularly feel he's brilliant. I think he's good at using his money. In a way, I think he's good at hiring other brilliant people to do the work for him. And then he's good at taking the credit. Because he is the social media representation of these companies, right? You think SpaceX, you think of him. You think Tesla, you think of him. I don't necessarily think Elon Musk is the smartest person in the room at any given point. Like, I think there are certain ideas you fall for, certain thought patterns you follow, which prove you to be quite intellectually mid at best. And I think when we look at Elon Musk and the things he's saying, no, I disagree. It's hard to start companies from scratch when you have the amount of money he has had. I disagree. We're not talking about a poor person. We're talking about rich person McRich. We're talking about a person who had a nice sum of money. It's not hard to start a company when you have a lot of money to hire a lot of experts to do the work for you. I don't think it's a hard thing to do. Oh, I also disagree money is useless in starting tech companies. I think once you have money, you're walking the world in easy mode. In extremely easy mode. What Elon Musk has been doing is existing in easy mode and taking credit that should have went to experts he has hired. But instead he took the credits. We see him as brilliant because we see the work of people who he hired to work in his companies, and we ascribe the work to him. And it's not his work. It's not his work. He's just the one who got them all in one place and told them to do shit. No, I definitely don't think he's a genius. I absolutely disagree with the idea he's a genius. I think if you look at his behavior online, I think what you see is an imposter syndrome. And absolutely an imposter syndrome deserved. I think he knows he's an imbecile who has been cosplaying a genius for far too long. He knows it, and he's trying to fake his place in the world of geniuses, and he is aware people are becoming more and more aware that he doesn't really fit in that. He's falling for the cheapest propaganda. He's using the lamest, dumbest excuses when he gets called out on stuff. Have you not seen his response recently to him being anti-Semitic? That's, my dude, that's a high school intelligence level. He's a stupid man, genuinely. He's a stupid man. Things he says, things he writes, things he uses as excuses. You would think he's 14 years old. The only thing that pushed Elon Musk to any sort of relevance is the fact that he had access to money all of this time. Like, that's the only thing. Winnick, in March 2022, March 2022, created a charity, the Winnick Foundation, to raise funds for the needs of Ukraine. In November 2022, Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs banned Winnick from entering Russia. Make it rocket from scratch, beating NASA. He didn't. It wasn't him who made the rocket. He is the one who is getting experts to work on creating a rocket for his company. He's not the one who makes the rocket. We're talking about a man who recently learned the types of particles and then he had to tweet it out to flex. We're talking about a man who recently responded very positively to one of the lamest anti-Semitic posts I have seen, who recently responded very positively to it and then made an excuse post being like, oh, wasn't actually anti-Semitic, when he absolutely obviously was. You're talking about a man with intelligence of an average ape. He's an incredibly stupid dude. He knows he's an incredibly stupid dude. His whole little thing with going to, where was he going, to Texas? With his stupid hat turned on backwards and then shooting from the hip. You remember those cringe videos? You know why? You know why he's doing those cringe videos? That's the imposter syndrome. He knows he doesn't belong. He knows he doesn't belong to this world that we have created for him, of him being a genius and a super intelligent man. He knows he doesn't belong there, so he's trying to fake his way into it. He's trying to make you believe he's cool enough to belong. He isn't. Oh yeah, neo-Nazi 100%, definitely. This man, he responded to, you remember that one post which said that there has been more footage from war in Gaza in 2 days than there has been from the war in Ukraine in years? He fell for that. He fell for that. He's an incredibly stupid man. He has money. But he's an incredibly stupid man. It was speculated to be around 150 from his various interviews. No fucking chance he's 150. No fucking chance. That man's mid. That man's mid at best. No chance he reaches 150. He's around 100. He's around us basic boys. He just has lots of money. The only reason Elon Musk has all of this cash money and you don't is because he was born in the family he was born in. Nothing else. There is literally nothing else in the world that puts him in a better position than you do. Nothing else that makes him more deserving than you are. He is average. He can't be more than average. Considering the propaganda he falls for, I would even guess a bit less, but like, let's not try to do, you know, armchair psychologist bullshit, but no fucking chance that man reaches anywhere close to 150. Businessman, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. IQ, I don't actually know. I have never tested it. I could be testing it relatively soonish, maybe, because I might need to go for a migraine treatment thing. Actually, I needed to go, and then they figured I might not need to go, so I don't know. I might just apply to test it just for fun. But when my brother went to do his migraine treatment, he had to do his IQ test. So I'm guessing that if I go for one, I will also have to do it. Apart from that, I don't really see a reason to do it, so I never really apply. I'm kind of interested. I don't know if that's good enough reason to go and be like, hey, can I do IQ test just because I want to? Like, do you think people do it like that? He made Twitter lose so much money. That's true. Rebranding it to X was incredibly stupid. Rebranding it was an incredibly dumb decision. Most of the things he has done with this website so far have been really stupid. Mensa? I've heard stuff about Mensa. I've heard stuff about it. Specifically, my brother has really high IQ, so he was able to join the Croatian one, and I looked into it at the time. He was never really interested. But I looked into it at the time, and it turns out that what they do is they take pride in their high IQ scores. So what they do is they solve IQ tests over and over and over and over and over. They inflate their IQ scores by solving exact same tasks regularly. So you get used to solving these exact same tasks regularly. How much that actually shows your, applied intelligence in the real world, I'm not really sure. But, don't take it for granted when you hear someone's a member. When you do your marked, you say something, then someone with higher IQ score says something else. It means you are automatically wrong to common people. Oh yeah, that too, yeah, definitely. It's like, oh, immediately, if you have a high IQ score, you're immediately supposed to be the smartest person in the room. Which, like, if you know anyone with a high IQ score, I think you would know how stupid that is. If you know a single person with a very, very high IQ, come on. Like, be real with me. My brother, until recently, didn't know the difference between an immigrant and a refugee. He was very loud about commenting on these. He was very, very loudly commenting on immigrants and refugees in Germany without knowing what immigrants and refugees actually were. I brought up the difference to him. He goes, like, all of the IQ in the world doesn't help if there's topics that you think a little bit about and then talk a lot about. IQ should be relative and to be tracked among all the living creatures to find the most intelligent. We all battle to find the smartest one. Shrek? How Shrek? Big part of the way Elon got where he is knowing the right people. He was buddies with Michael Griffin, who ended up playing a large role in NASA's collaboration with SpaceX. Oh yeah, that too. Richie people are all connected, aren't they? I changed my little over 100 wiki IQ bet to under 100. Could you do it? Now I kind of want to do it. Now it got me interested. I mean, so it's not really pseudoscience. I think the way it's understood, though, could be. It's one of those things where people don't really understand what your IQ is measuring, I think. Because what your IQ score is how well you solve IQ tests. Right? It doesn't actually manage your general knowledge. You could be horrible at geography. You could not know where you are in the world. You could not know what fucking continent you are on. And you could solve the IQ test and you could get a nice little score because you have different types of intelligence, right? So, I think the way people understand it, I think the way people perceive it makes it pseudoscientific because it's perceived to be a lot more than what it actually is. Yeah, there's IQ, there's general knowledge. Yeah, true. There's a hunt for magical creatures and they all hide in Shrek Swamp. Hey, yeah, true. They all hide there. Oh, as refugees. True. You can train yourself online to pass the test. Yeah, that's true. There's actually, I remember as a kid, solving those. They were like newspapers you buy, and then there were like little tests there, little puzzles to solve. And some of them were very similar to what you get in IQ tests. Because I remember when I was solving those online IQ tests for fun in like high school or whatever, I would often notice the same patterns, like you look at the question and you're like, I'm not sure which shape fits. And then you remember how you solved something very similar, but like a lot more colorful and a lot more simple in one of those kiddie newspapers you had back in the day. And you're like, okay, yeah, this is the solution. I know what it is because I remember solving the shit before. That's what IQ test is. Wish my memory was better. People out there remembering whole ass phone books. I think it's one of those things where like you're probably better at something else, right? You're probably better at something else that you gotta memorize. Because for example, I'm shit at memorizing faces and I'm shit at memorizing locations. If you leave me in the middle of a city, if you like walk together and you explain all the locations to me, and you leave me in the middle of the city and you ask me to come back to locations where we came from, I will not be able to do it. I do not know how to remember shit like that. But I'm okay at remembering specific events, and I think it's a bit more because I'm interested a lot in like reading shit. So I read little analysis and I read little opinions of events all of the time. So it all kind of just builds a picture. And then I'm good at remembering that, right? But I'm not good at remembering numbers at all. It's like a different type of a thing. My brother is very, very good at remembering numbers. He's really, really good at machinery. He's good at mathematics. He's good at those types of things more, which I am fucking horrible at. Oh yeah, you can memorize. You can improve memorizing ability. That's true. IQ is nothing more to me than asking someone to do push-ups and then conflating the push-ups with genetics instead of how much they like sports. That makes a lot of sense, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. After Putin's next enthronement, the regime will be anchored, which basically means giving it a free hand. This is why Ukraine and the global community have 3 to 4 months to prepare relevantly. Man. EU's trade agreements? Bastards. Bastards. When? 2016. Okay, at the point in 2016 they were still sucking off Russians. I thought this was recent. I was like, ooh, but yeah. I mean, they were sending. Do you guys know we were sending politicians to Crimea to meet the Russians, right? We were meeting with Russian delegation in Russian lands on Crimea. We were doing stupid shit, okay? European Union has been complicit with this. European Union would still be complicit with this if Eastern Europe didn't push us into doing something. Europe would still be okay with this. If you didn't see a big push to help Ukraine defend itself, and if Putin did it a bit more smartly without like raising a global panic, if he just sent the troops over without the whole thing of like, will he not? No, he could have just sent them over very quickly, very suddenly, just to help the invaders already there. I feel the European Union would still be okay with the whole situation. They got pressured to act now, but it's not really in their interest to do anything against Russia, is it? Does anybody claim IQ is only genetic? You do have people claiming it, yeah. You do have it. Mostly people who are, what's the word? I wanna say racist or shit. I wanna say racist or shit. Wait, I posted, I think, one book on something similar to this previously. I'm trying to remember what it is. Yeah. race realists found the book. It's called The Mismeasure of Man. That's what it is. That's what it is. But the idea is basically that human races can be put into a pyramid because they, by their genetics, have a different IQ level. The same idea is being presented by a lot of people who are misogynists, that by the nature of being born as a woman or a man, you get a higher or lower IQ score immediately, and this is not something that you can really fix by getting better education. You just naturally are better and you naturally are smarter because you were born this way. Posted this map an hour ago on Twitter. Oh, so it's like an old article, but I posted it now. Oh, fuckers. I hope they're getting spat on. Because to admit it's not only genetic, to admit that there's... You know how it's like nature versus nurture? To admit that environment goes into it, it would create a situation where a lot of arguments created by race realists are debunked. So you were talking about people who, for example, when we talk about the crime rates in Sweden, when we talk about the vulnerable areas that they have created, the unemployment rate in these vulnerable areas is really, really high. And what is also really, really high is the number of kids who'd never finish school. They don't have proper schools around, they don't have proper infrastructure, they don't have proper ways to get to school. They just simply aren't given the same chance. Their schools are not funded in the same way, the quality of education is not the same, and it's because the Swedish society has already decided to see these lands as vulnerable areas, so the amount of funding going into them is already minimal. So because of this, they are creating a situation where these people are not getting proper education, and because they're not getting proper education, they are not able to get proper jobs. And because they're not able to get proper jobs, they have to turn to doing whatever they can to survive. But you talk to people about this, especially Europeans, I think we had a few of these types in chat so far. You talk to them about this and they'll be like, oh no, this is actually because foreigners live there. It's because a bunch of foreigners are living there, and foreigners just naturally aren't as good as the rest of Swedish society is. So foreigners just naturally like turning to crime a bit more. And no, it's not really that. The environment makes you do that. The environment fucks you up. There's real ways you could fix this. You just refuse to fix it. Siamese twins with same genetic stuff, but same different IQ. I don't actually know what the race realist groups would respond to that, to be honest. Yeah, race realist, and anything realist in it is like, you know how people calling themselves realists when it comes to geopolitics, and then all they were doing was eating hot shit. It's like that. Just you know, you use that word, and I'm like, I'm not sure how much I trust anything you are about to say. Literally anything, literally any single word. But yeah, don't base respect of people on their IQ scores. Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga. A drone? In a drone that carries FPV drones. Geopolitical realism is based. I think it's like, well, you know, how to say it? Like any other way of viewing politics, it can be based and it can also be really stupid. And I think it depends on who is saying it. It can be based, and it can also be misused. Like, what was the Mearshmeyer's thing? Aggressive realism? He calls it, right? Aggressive realism. Kind of dumb. He did that whole idea of viewing the world. Kind of dumb. Kind of dumbassy. Offensive realism could be that. I know it's dumb. I know it's a dumb little idea of like, oh yeah, we should just allow the greater powers to do whatever they want, because of course they will. Environment shouldn't be fixed, the brain adapts and evolves. I think there's there's certain disadvantages you can get across, and then there's a lot of disadvantages you can attempt to get across, but you will fail. And the more of them your environment creates, in the worse position you are, you know. And just by the fact of knowing we have people in our society who are put into these disadvantaged positions, we should be wanting to fix them, basically. We should be wanting to fix them. We should be making sure people are not put into disadvantaged positions already. Some people may overcome it, some people may adapt and overcome, many people will not. And I don't think it's fair in the first place to expect them to overcome difficulties that, you know, just simply aren't difficulties that most of society has to go through. Big drone functions as a relay. Notice good FPV drone videos quality up until the impact. Oh, whereas previously video had lots of interference close to the ground. Nice! Better videos. Guys, go donate to the armed forces of Ukraine. Nice. I saw they were using, there was like a new fancy tactic they were using recently to get more range. I assume it's that one. Saw it just before I went to sleep. It was like, Yeah, you could adapt and overcome. Many people can't. It's like, look at Elon Musk. You think he's the type of a man who could adapt and overcome? Nah, of course not. Nah. That man has been given the easy path through life, and he has been walking it quite confidently. Would he survive being born into a vulnerable area where he has no education, where he has no money, where he actually has to work to get himself somewhere? Corruption Museum? He had his own pirate ship? What? I want a pirate ship in the backyard. Who had a golden loaf of bread? Someone had a golden loaf of bread in his villa. I don't know which politician I'm thinking of. I know it was golden. Nature, the survival of the fittest and not equality based. I think the worth of society is allowing the weakest to survive and thrive. I think that's the point. We're not anymore, you know, taking babies born with issues and chunking them off a mountain. We are allowing even the weakest of our society to thrive, and I think that's a good thing, and I think this is what we should be pushing for. That's the worth of having a society in the first place. Was Yanukovych? Nice. I remember the golden fucking loaf of bread on that table, man. What an unnecessary goddamn thing. It's bullshit. Bullshit. Okay, they're going through all the misinformation. Fair. Took these photos a few days after Yanukovych fled Ukraine. Eternal memory to Heaven's 100. Man. Man. They thrive, or do they more limp and absorb? I think by the virtue of them absorbing something, you are making them thrive, aren't you? Like they are living in the best possible situation they could be living in, and they're having a good life. They are thriving. They are getting your assistance, they are getting your help, they are getting whatever they can be getting. They are managing to have a life worthy of living. That's a good thing. Sometimes the weakest are the fittest. Fuck, my chat linked. After the asteroid caused a mass extinction and small mammals living underground survived and then multiplied. Yeah, that too. Well, like I think it's a good thing to help the weakest in your society. If you look at societies which have strong social safety nets and are very focused on helping people within the society who might need it and who are focused on creating any sort of equality possible, you'll see that it's a society thriving. Any thinking person should understand that the dropping of weapons from the West will not allow the orcs to be pushed back. The Western politicians have a deep understanding of what is happening and what will happen next in the case of the fall of Ukraine, or is it really their plan to exhaust the orcs for as long as possible until they withdraw themselves? Yeah. It's exhausting them, yeah. It's, hey, let's get Russia to pull back, but by itself. We're not gonna get too involved. And the reason we're not gonna get too involved is that the only actual Russian casualty of this war is going to be the regime of Vladimir Putin. And when the regime of Vladimir Putin breaks, if it breaks too strongly, there's a possibility Russian republics also seek independence. So what we have in that situation is a lot of wars starting in the grounds of Russian Federation and a lot of refugees seeking shelter in our lands. Do we want to create another crisis? When Yugoslavia was breaking apart, the consequences were felt throughout the entire Europe. And Yugoslavia was a lot smaller than Russian Federation currently is. Europe relied a lot less on imports from Yugoslavia than it does currently when it comes to Russian Federation. We have crushed their economy. Frenchies specifically, for example, felt a great hit when we were falling apart. And not even to mention the fact that we had a lot of refugees going everywhere and like flooding the countries. Germany specifically was flooded with our refugees, right? It will happen again on a greater scale maybe if Russian Federation starts crumbling. And this is something that our Western leaders genuinely fear. So what they want to do is they want to see Russia lose, but they want to see it lose a tiny little bit. Just enough to go out. A tiny little bit. By the way, I have to go. There's a doorbell ringing. So let me pay you this. Be right back. Yeah. Hey yo, sorry, it was my uncle. It was my uncle. It was my uncle. He got a mobile phone message that he needs to follow a link to pay for some package that he supposedly didn't receive, but he did order, but he doesn't order any packages because he doesn't know how. So I'm guessing a man was a victim of scam messaging. Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, we can't deliver your package because you didn't pay the fee of $3. Click on a link to solve that. And I was like, nah. I deleted it immediately. I told him not to click, and then I was like, you know what? He's gonna click on it. He's gonna go home and he's gonna get curious and he's gonna click on it. And then they're going to like steal a lot of his cash money. I'm just going to delete the entire message. But yeah, problem solved by deleting everything. It was also DHL, which like my father sends us packages through DHL, but like I've never had to pay the over the border crossing thing, you know what I mean? Tsarina, I never had to pay that, so I don't know why you would suddenly have to be paying for them. What were we looking at? Could be a thing if culture, religion, demographics, language had not been in existence. What could have been a thing? Paintball guns? Oh, if we didn't start with wars at time of our existence where we did not have paintball, then yeah, we could have just evolved to be using paintball guns instead. Unfortunately, we started wars way previously, so we kind of got used to harming each other. Really harming each other. Still swimming in Nigerian prince money. Oh, my mother keeps on falling for scams recently. Scams being like you buy one thing online and you get something for free. And I keep on being like, mother, for the love of God. They lied to you like 6 times already. You're gonna buy 7th thing. She bought the 7th thing. She bought some, what's it called? The only word in my head is fairy lights, but I know there's a proper word for that. Those little lights you buy for Christmas. She bought those because the thing was you buy 2 of them, you get a Christmas tree for free with them. And I was like, mother, that tree is not arriving. You're just buying 2 packages when you need only 1. And what happened is, surprise, 2 lights have been delivered. She didn't get the fucking tree. Before that, she bought some fairies for her garden because it was like, you buy 2, you only pay 1, but you get 2, right? She pays for 1, technically 1.5, she gets 1. It's such a stupid thing. It's such stupid scams, and she keeps on like stumbling right into them. The scamming companies of Europe are being upheld by my mother just blindly falling for every single one of them. Recently, she saw there's like outdoor furniture things. It was like, I think 2 couches. It was one of those like lounge chairs, and it was a table. $25. I'm like, no. I'm fucking deleting your Facebook. I'm fucking deleting your entire Facebook. What the hell are you doing? What the fucking hell are you doing? Come on. Come the fuck on. Get some European Union funding to spread scam prevention information. It wouldn't help it wouldn't help. There's already a lot. There's already a lot. I feel people like that are just fucking dumb, and until they spend a certain amount of money, they're gonna keep doing it. She just keeps on doing it. She doesn't listen to shit. And there's people around her. The worst thing is, there's people around her who fell for the same scams. And she mocks them. There was a dude here who bought a phone for $15, the new iPhone. He bought it for $15. He received a rock in a box of the new iPhone. Like it was a box and there was a rock and it was pasted, so the box is a bit heavier. He gets it from the postman, and the postman is like, hey, do you want to open the package? And he's like, oh yeah, I actually do want to, because it might be a scam, it was so cheap. So he takes the box, he like squiggles it around a little bit, he feels it's heavy. He's like, yeah, this is definitely a phone, it has been taped and everything, right? It's fucking rock in a box. She mocks that man constantly. She almost bought a set of furniture for $25. There's no learning happening. There's no learning happening. There's no learning curve, you know? It's like standing in one spot and you don't learn a single thing until, I guess, you spend your entire paycheck, and then you're like, well, I got a house full of trash and no money. Maybe I should sit back and think about whose decisions have led me to this situation. Maybe, even that's like maybe. Not sure it's going to happen. Joe's 20 and 21st November, significant dates for 3 reasons. The first reason being it's Biden's birthday. Cute. Hey yo, Draco, good morning. Beginning of Holodomor Remembrance Week, and 10 years ago marked the beginning of Ukraine's Revolution of Dignity. Yeah, I wanted to focus on the start of Maidan today, because it's like, you know, just a day. But we will need to be learning more about Holodomor the rest of the week, because it is Holodomor Remembrance Week. So you gotta know what it is, you gotta know what it was, you gotta know the stories of people affected. I have seen quite a lot of them appearing, especially, you know, Ukrainians are retelling the family stories on Twitter these days. Some of them are really bad. So be prepared. I mean, I guess most of you are, because most of you are already, you know, either Eastern Europeans or you know some people who are, so I guess you've heard the stories. But in case you're not prepared, get prepared, okay? There's some very tragic things that have had to happen so people would be able to survive. Very, very, very tragic. Wait, I was here. Oh. On November 21st, 2013, after a secret meeting between Putin and Yanukovych, Yanukovych's government announced it would not sign the planned agreement on the association between Ukraine and the European Union. On the same day, people in various cities of Ukraine went out to protest. Man. I wonder what we would do if, like, our attempts to join European Union was stopped. I wonder what would, you know, happen. I wonder if we would have the balls to do anything similar. Cute. Russia planned Holodomor too. Oh yeah, there's evidence that they planned to starve Ukraine, right? Shoigu said all Ukrainian attempts to conduct amphibious operations in Kherson direction led to colossal losses. Oh. There has apparently been evidence collected that Russia planned to starve Ukraine before they even invaded, right? That was Holodomor too. They planned to starve the population before they even did the full-scale invasion. Luckily, their plans didn't work, but... Is anyone surprised by them planning it? I guess no. Oh, this is what you mentioned in chat. 23-year-old Moscowite shot himself at a shooting range after receiving a summons. That's the one. Astrakhan, almost 500,000 people live there. It's a historical city. Marine capital of Russia.
Вот посмотрите, что творится. Это Здесь дождя не было, вчера был дождь.
Looking like a marine capital, they got lots of seaside.
Вот посмотрите, что здесь
Almost like
творится.
Dubrovnik.
Какие здесь грязные улицы, какие дороги ужасные. Как все запущено. А губернатор за 9 или 11 миллиардов рублей строит
Looked more like a biopic than comedy. Oh shit.
оперный театр.
I can imagine that shit.
Вот в этом городе, в этом ужасном городе он строит театр. Посмотрите, какие дороги. Посмотрите, какие дома. За эти 9-10 миллиардов он мог бы расселить.
What is 10 billion rubles in
Если не
dollars?
половина Астрахани. Я думаю, хотя бы там 1/4, 25% хотя бы там, или 20% города Астрахани он
10 billion
расселил
rubles?
бы, построил новые дома, построил хорошие дороги. Вот. А теперь посмотрите, что творится. Вот это, пожалуйста.
Divide by 100.
Достопримечательности нашего славного
Значит, yeah,
города
fair, okay, true.
Астрахани. Вот, смотрите, вот таких домах живут астраханцы.
110
Вот видите,
million
впервые
dollars?
Это мы специально не выбрали. Это
He did
считайте,
say
как
billion,
город
right?
такой.
Did he say million?
Вот, пожалуйста. Вот, это все улицы практически, ну, может быть, там в центре где-то асфальтировано, а вот это тоже, где мы едем. Это улица какая?
He did say
Добролюбова.
billions.
Мы едем по улице Добролюбова, это практически центр. И вот
Yeah, I
здесь,
think for
пожалуйста,
Westerners
посмотрите.
it's
Какие
easy
дома,
for that to be funny because you
какие
know
улицы.
it's a tragedy that
Какое
happened
страшное
not where you
безобразие.
are. It's a tragedy that didn't touch you. It's a man whose life didn't touch you. So it's easy for you to look at it and to be having, you know, relative chill feelings. Hey, yeah. Joey, help! A drone being made. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Bro, how hard is it to make these? Oh! Nice. USA will send the HIMARS to Ukraine with a surprise? Huh. Transfer of only one HIMARS launcher may indicate it will be with a unique launcher modification. Previously it was missiles at 150 kilometers. What are we hoping to get? Are we hoping to get one of those bioweapons created to target Russians specifically? Can we get one of those? Hey, how dare you? How dare you? You gotta ship them all over to the Ruskies. Okay, people fighting under the influence of drugs are quite easy, I would assume, to disrupt. "16-year-old Buryak, the son of one of Zaporizhia's highest-ranking Ukrainian officials, spent 90 days in Russian captivity and faced unimaginable horror at the hands of Russian soldiers." Man, holy shit. Hey, yeah, good morning. Man. Aww. There's something so beautiful about having an event where your country has fought for democracy in such close history, I feel. There's something so magical about it. Because, you know, it makes you appreciate the thing, right? I think a lot of the problems that we are having these days with Westerners being unable to properly understand the importance of this fight comes from the fact that they see a lot of the things Ukrainians are fighting for, they see them as granted, you know? Stuff like democracy, for example. They see it as granted. It's like, oh yeah, we always had it. We fought for it like years before. We were allowed to exist as a state for centuries already. And then when it comes to countries which actually fought for this recently, it creates a whole different value. Hey, yo, Derzy, how's life going? I will have to leave the stream in like 2 minutes. So, hey, yo, welcome. One of Russian trucks bringing 3 million books to occupied Ukraine to replace Ukrainian books that Russians burnt down. Bro, what the fuck? Dude. Oh man, okay, holy shit. Holy shit. Today many European politicians and ministers came to Kyiv. Something will happen. What is your opinion? I'm like slowly into the position of never trust allies. You know how it is, like whenever you have hope in Russians doing something, lose the hope, kill it with fire, burn it, stomp it into the ground, they're going to disappoint. I feel the more and more we go on, more and more the same opinion stands for allies. Yeah, you have some hope in them doing something really dramatic, don't. Chill, sit down, relax, don't. They will not do anything. You wanna do proper donations, do donations to Ukrainians. You wanna help, do something, help Ukrainians. The allies have not really shown themselves to be too useful in the current situation. End stream for the second time. I'm sorry. I'm leaving always at this time because I have to go to work. I work afternoon. If I do a stream before noon, I work afternoon shift. So now when I'm working afternoon shift, I have to leave around this time because my ride is gonna be here. And then at 1 o'clock I have to be at work already. So I cannot do the stream before that. I do the stream before that, so I'm educated on the current affairs. What the fuck? I did the stream before, so I'm educated on the affairs before, because when I go to the store, I like pushing people to have conversations with me on politics. I found it fun recently to be like poking people a little bit. We're having a lot of very interesting conversations in Croatia these days about, you know, our place in the global community, our place in European Union. We're having a super election year next year. So because I'm still planning to stay on the job that I have currently, I'm planning to stay on it for the next year. I feel this is a good chance for me to to influence as many people as possible. So I'm trying to push them into properly researching who they are voting for. Because we're seeing some very strong pre-election campaigns. Very, very strong campaigns from very bad actors on the political scene. So, you know, I'm doing what I can to fight against that shit. 53 kilometers. Hey, talking about this, did I save a post? I wanted to save a post to show you today. I think this is how we're gonna end the stream. I'm gonna show you a good post and then I'm leaving. German farmers have sent a bunch of vehicles to Ukraine. German farmers have sent a bunch of their vehicles. Technically, like, they don't need them anymore. So they have, you know, sent them to be helping Ukrainians. But I thought it was a beautiful thing because, oh, it was Brits. It was the Brits. It wasn't the Germans. Sorry, another nation. It was the Brits. Look at this. Hundreds of British farmers have donated their 4x4 cars to the Ukrainian armed forces. Look at them. Hundreds of farmers did big donations. When British farmers do this and the Polish farmers do that, you know we're having problems, okay? You know we're having some issues. You know there's some troubles going on. Oh, you're tilted? Referee did not award a penalty against Italy. Oh shit, I wasn't following the situation. Most of the facts I know about that match were because I follow few creators, and there's this one specifically who's an Italian and she supports Ukraine. So she was commenting on it most of the time. So that's what I know. That's what I know. I know Croatia is doing well, okay? I'm waiting to play against Ukraine. to see who I should be cheering for. British farmer car, Ukrainian farmer car. Must be me. And come on, Brits are doing well. Brits are doing well. There was not a penalty. I don't know, I haven't watched. Yeah, I have not watched. I only watch when Croatia is somewhere because I don't get stressed a lot because most of our matches we win. So most of the time I watch Croatian matches, I'm like, yeah, I know who's gonna win. And then when I watch other matches, I don't know who's gonna win, and then I actually get stressed out. So, be like me, avoid unnecessary stress. Just cheer for Croatia to have the easiest path to, you know, proper high ranks. British farmer car, usual. Ukrainian, Russian armor. Oh, yeah. Okay, fair. They have some good vehicles, maybe. They got some good vehicles. I remember one of the NAFO, but I actually have to be leaving, but one of the NAFO sniffing brigade donations, they made a comment how cars are basically expendables at the front line. They get destroyed so quickly, they get destroyed so easily. There's currently a fundraiser, it's here in my retweets, for another car because the first car that they bought got exploded like almost immediately. So you can fundraise to help this artist buy another car for the armed forces of Ukraine. You know, so cars are expendables. Cars are really expendable. If you can donate a car, if you can raise funds for a car, you're going to be doing a lot of great work because a lot of them just get destroyed on a daily basis almost. Hey, yo, Albania, welcome to the stream, welcome. I'm very sorry I have to be leaving soon, but I'm happy to see you here. No, I don't see Albania as enemies. Of course not. You're cool people, like you have brought great food to the rest of Europe, including Germany. The main way to eat good in Germany is by going to an Albanian-owned restaurant. Fucking love you people. I think you're cool. I think you're great. I have nothing against you. We see you as enemies. What do I tell you? You know there's you know that saying? Do you speak Slav? Do you speak Slav? There's this saying that says, behind a good horse, all dogs are barking. That's why it is. That's why it is. I'm not bothered by it. We bought almost all gun cars. British farmers to the rescue. British farmers to the rescue then. Ha ha ha. Horse, like, yeah. Horses. When you have a good horse, they like run down the road and you can hear them very loudly and they just plummet there and they're like a unit, right? And the dogs panic when they hear it. so the dogs start barking. That's, you know, that's the situation we're seeing here. Croatians are just, we're a fucking unit. Okay, we're a fucking unit. And then all of the little tiny nations around us, they panic when we pass through, because why wouldn't they? We're so much superior just by existing as Croatians. What did I tell you, my dude? High demand in Albania. We got horses. We got horse exports. Fair. I will root for Croatia. Thank you very much. Thank you very, 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 very much. By the way, I have to be leaving. I have to be running away. It's 12:38. I'm leaving for my work in approximately 5 minutes. 7 minutes. 7 minutes technically. And I'm still very much underdressed. So, see you on the stream tomorrow. It is Holodomor Awareness Week. So we will likely be talking a lot about it still this week. Today was 10 years since the start of Maidan. So make sure to remind people when it fucking started, because I feel a lot of people think it started in February 2014 for some reason. Capital is suffering. I will not be enjoying, but thank you for good wishes anyways. See you, by the way. Stay strong, drink enough water, never get a job. Actually, do get a job so you can sub to me. But